Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate everyone who's here live, everyone who's going to watch this on the replay. My camera is being a bit funny, so you may notice that it like zooms in and out on my face. Just completely disregard that. Hopefully it gets fixed. But I am so looking forward to us just relaxing, swatching, and talking about the beautiful Roman Szmal watercolors. I will see if I can swatch all of them. But if I can't, I will start at some point and then complete it in a separate video. And I will leave timestamps down below for everyone. And yeah, I hope that you are all doing well. I was reading the chat, so it was nice to see someone's got a greenhouse. Moni's just back from work. Everyone's nice and relaxed. Get yourself a drink and let me know what you are doing. This is like a real. It's not a it's not a premiere. It's a live. I'm here for real. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with my camera, but we press on. So this is what we have. Yeah, it's definitely alive. How is everyone doing? What are you guys doing this evening, afternoon, wherever you are in the world at the moment? It is alive. So just to kind of give a brief overview, Roman Szmal were kind enough to gift me their entire range of watercolors, and I have done like swatches here and there. I have swatched like the top 30 that you have recommended, and I will link that down below as well. I have done swatches of what I thought were my favorites, but I am yet to have done swatches of their entire range, and at the moment they are having a sale, so I thought it would be good practice to just swatch everything, see everything, take closer looks, look at the different properties, and then from there, if you're going to buy the colors, you can, but also if you're just interested in different colors at any point, you can have a look and get it. So these are all the Roman Szmal watercolors come in, the 4-pan certainly come in these like hand swatched labels, which were just too beautiful for me to throw away. So I've actually like kept them and tried to use them as a key sort of where I've put the colors. I've messed around the order a little bit, so you'll forgive me. I have this key, I have this key, and then I also have the labels on the actual pans just to make sure that we're swatching everything correctly. But on top of that, this is super exciting because I was having a chat with a subscriber that I met face to face who is amazing and very kind and very inspiring. And in talking, I was kind of talking about the fact that, I wanted to print, but I've been putting it off. And she'd actually been kind enough to print out my little doodles that I had done for swatching on some watercolor paper. So she printed out one page so that I could see it, but that sparked the fuel of inspiration. And from there, I bought the printer, which I will link down below, and I did my own swatches. So if you're on Instagram, you've probably seen this, but I essentially did like little doodles of leaves on Procreate and then saved them as like a giant bank of doodles and have just printed them with all the Roman Szmal information so that I can do the swatches nice and easy. And I printed this on 300 GSM Fabriano paper, which is 100% cotton. So the printer, although it says it can only go up to 265 GSM, managed to print 300 with no problems. And the beauty of it, hopefully, fingers crossed, if this works, I've tried it and it's been okay, is that it is waterproof. So I'm actually able to just print out my swatch cards with all the information without spending hours and hours writing it out, which is what I wanted to avoid. But yeah, I'll link everything down below because I keep getting the letters messed up in terms of with the printer. So if you're interested, feel free to have a look at that. And while I do that, I will also be reading the comments to try and catch up. What am I missing? They've been ignoring my question and asked channels for weeks though. Which colors are being discontinued? I can see a conversation between Moni and Miss Ebony. And the only other thing that I should say is that I finally bought, after the encouragement of Astroglare, I bought this silver black velvet brush because I've been using the Princeton Neptunes, but so many people have spoken about how good this brush is. And so far, so good. I think the main difference that I have noticed is that it's softer than the Princeton Neptune. And that means that it's been really nice to like layer on top of it. And it just feels a little bit more delicate. But yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. So thank you for the recommendation. And again, because of Astroglio, this is 100% cotton watercolor paper. I'm reiterating that because it caused her great pain to see me swatch on non 100% cotton watercolor paper. And she was kind enough to actually sponsor the series by getting paper specifically for the swatching. Oh, thank you. It's so nice to see familiar names. So I will read the chat, but I won't be putting it up for a little while, just so um, I can keep up with the swatching. So the first one that we have, and let me know if at any point you can't see the swatches clearly or you want me to move my phone lower and I can do that. But the first one is Chinese White, which is PW4. It is 8 out of 8 light fastness, which is the best light fastness, non-granulating and semi-transparent. I don't tend to use whites very much, but I feel like I might do because there are some like beautiful pastel kind of pinks that when I look at the combination, it's red and white. And I'm like, why haven't I done that before? Like, you know, sometimes watering down the red just isn't quite enough. This is titanium white, and look at that, it's a bit more opaque. It is PW6, 8 out of 8 light fastness, medium staining, non-granulating, and it is opaque. And I can't tell you how happy it makes my heart that this isn't smudging. Oh gosh. And then what do we have next? Let me double check. We have buff titanium. So buff titanium is PW61. They say it's an earth pigment and it is semi-opaque, non-staining and granulating. Look at that. That's on first pass. I might go over it again. One of the things that I really love about Roman Szmal is how easy they re-wet. So I haven't pre-wet any of them. And still you can see how great that is. I'm going to bring this a little bit lower because I want to be sure that you guys are seeing all the colors. Okay. I've linked it. Hey Renee, I've linked the printer in the description. It's less so about the printer, it can be any. It's more so that the printer has to be compatible with the Epson Dura-Bright ink. So that is the like what makes it special. The ink won't smudge when you get it wet. Next, we have Nickel Titanate Yellow, which is PY53, super bright and like a coolish yellow. It's PY53, 8 out of 8 light fastness, staining, non-granulating, and semi-transparent. That's the reason that I like having the doodles, you know, just so that I can see whether they are semi-transparent or opaque or not. So it kind of lets me know if I'm going to be doing a painting over line drawing, how much is this going to cover what I'm doing? Oh, you have a love-hate relationship. Tell me more. This one is cadmium lemon. It's PY35, 8 out of 8 light fastness. It is staining, non-granulating, and beautiful, and also semi-opaque. Look at that. This is our first line. I'm so excited. I feel like getting the printer is what tipped me over the edge. It's by no means necessary, right? Like I've been doing swatches myself by hand this entire time beforehand, but there was something intimidating for me about doing it all by hand for 180 colors. It's almost that like analysis paralysis. Before starting, I was like, how am I going to even be able to do it? So it made my life so much easier with respect to that. This is bismuth yellow. It is PY 184, 8 out of 8 light fastness. It's non-staining, non-granulating, and semi-opaque. And it's so funny. Someone like mentioned this before, which I hadn't really considered, but they said it's so funny that, you know, with gouache, we struggle to get like opaque yellows, and with watercolor, we struggle to get transparent yellows. You'd think that it would be one way or the other. And I heard that oftentimes the black ink would pull away from the watercolor pigment, so you get light halo around the black ink. Oh, I haven't noticed that as of yet, but I'll keep an eye out, and if it does happen, I will let you know, either in a separate video, but in the description. You can certainly keep an eye out for it for the rest of the video. Then we have Hansa Yellow Light. I keep like double checking to make sure I am I am picking up the right one. So we've done 3 yellows, so we're on this one. And this is PY3. It's like a nice, cheap and cheerful, bright, cool yellow. And it is one of my go-tos, to be fair. It is 7 to 8 out of 8 light fastness, so not the best light fastness, medium staining, non-granulating, and semi-transparent. And I think that's one of the things that kind of pulls me towards it. Thank you, Tracy. Oh, I'm shocked. I am shocked, a watercolorist. But I haven't tried M. Graham, so I don't know if I were to try it, I would see like a crazy difference between the two. He adds brightness. Waterproof pens can cause paint to repel. Yeah, exactly. That does tend to happen. But sometimes it is helpful. How many yellows have we done? Maybe I should just keep my hand here so then I know what we've done and what we will do. Sometimes like biro pens, nice and cheap. The cheapest of the cheap pens that you can get are great for like doing doodles if you're going to do that, because it won't they won't shift, especially once you let them dry. This is lemon yellow, which is PY 61. It is 7 out of 8 light fastness, 8 being the best. It is medium staining, non-granulating, and semi-transparent again. I can't see much of a difference between the two, but I guess I would prefer the Hansa Yellow because it's a bit better light fastness. But they're quite similar. Then we have oh my gosh, these names. Isoindolinone Isoindolinone Yellow Light, which is a PY 109, 8 out of 8 light fastness, medium staining, non-granulating, and semi-transparent. And it is here. I do think it's so funny, the way that I fell in love with Roman Szmal was literally because of the price, because I wanted something that was I just thought, you know, it's affordable. So I didn't have very high expectations of it. I just wanted affordable, relatively good watercolors that I could practice with. And and then from there I was like, oh, this is so good and so cheap. And what I mean by that is that at that point I had the Daniel Smith that I reserved for, you know, special occasions, and then I had my Roman Szmal that I was using all the time, and I just couldn't put my paints down. This is Aquarius Yellow, which is PY 168, 7 out of 8 light fastness, medium staining, non-granulating, and semi-transparent. If I happen to miss a question, do you mind repeating it again? And if you're going to ask a question that's directed to me, do you mind just putting like question in caps so that I can see it? just to make sure that I don't miss it. And you can see that we're getting warmer and warmer as we're going across. So this is like a really nice warmish yellow, or middle of the road yellow. Following that, we have Aureolin. Aureolin? Who remembers that video where I was struggling to say that? So we have Aureolin Hue, which is PY151, which we've already swatched out, but this is again warmer. It is 8 out of 8 light fastness, medium staining, non-granulating, and semi-transparent. Hey Marilise, hey Lorna. It's so nice to see so many like familiar names. Hey Brianna. I know. Aureolin. Thank you. Oh, Creative Cute Art is here as well. This is so awesome. I'm so happy. There's so many chatters, I know. But that's the thing that I love about this. I should say actually that for Ko-fi, we are going to be having a face-to-face, like not face-to-face, a video, like virtual painting meetup on Saturday. So if you wanted to do this, but chat with other artists and chat with me and have your voice be heard and be seen if you want to be seen, then be sure to join my Ko-fi and then to also take part, because I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We have Cadmium Yellow Pale. So this is PY35. It is 8 out of 8 light fastness. It is staining, it is non-granulating, and it is semi-opaque. And again, we are getting warmer and warmer and warmer. Beautiful. You can really see the difference between like the semi-transparent and the semi-opaques when you do a doodle underneath, no? I look forward. Oh, thank you so much, Creating Cute Art. Now I seem vain because I've put your message up. Yeah, definitely. I'm really, really looking forward to it because I love live streams. Do not get me wrong. I absolutely do. But you can appreciate, you can imagine that it's a lot to like read out the chat, to control like the electronics, to also think about what I'm painting and what I'm doing. So it will just be nice to relax and to paint and to like hear people and respond, it's a bit different. This is benzene. Oh my gosh, I'll raise it up so that we can all struggle together. Benzimidazole yellow. I feel like I'm doing chemistry again. And it is PY154. It is 7 to 8 out of 8 light fastness. And staining, non-granulating, and transparent. That will be curious to see because it's not looking transparent at the moment. Imagine. Oh, whoops. Where are you going to? Because my live streams, they very much come like when the mood strikes. Like literally, if I'm like, oh, I want to go live, I go live. And I finished editing a video that I wanted to post, but then I really wanted to go live. So I contemplated putting both up at the same time, realized that didn't make sense. And in the end, I was like, okay, I'll go live. So if I came on and I saw that you and Creating Cute Art were going live, I wouldn't go live. I would just join yours. I would just like watch yours. Yeah, most definitely. I honestly feel like I'm in class again. This one is quinophthalone yellow. Don't know why that one's easier to say. It is PY138. It is 7 out of 8 light fastness, non-granulating and semi-transparent. And this one, correct me if I'm not wrong, I'm right. This one is also part of the Roman Szmal urban sketching set. So the buff titanium and this yellow. It's so funny because when it's so funny, like in terms of things being relative, right? Because when you look at it here, you're like, oh, it's a nice, bright, pale yellow. And then when you look at it on here, you can see like, oh, It's got a bit of warmth to it when you compare it to like the nickel titaniate yellow, for example, the cadmium lemon. All of a sudden, this is looking a lot warmer. Oh, hey Patricia, welcome. Yeah, I completely agree. We need sunflower yellow, baby blanket yellow, like something that's easier to say. Next we have Hansa Yellow. One, two, three. Hansa Yellow Medium, which is, I'm gonna try and avoid that little spot of red that I've got, which is PY74, medium staining, non-granulating, and semi-transparent. It's so funny because, like, you know, when you see TV shows and someone is painting their house and they're like, "Oh, pick a color," and the person says like they're all the same color, and you can't tell the difference. That's what I feel like when we're doing the swatches, because I feel like I can tell the difference. I hope you can tell the difference, but I don't know if non-watercolor lovers will understand the subtle differences with all these beautiful yellows. This is Indian yellow. Sorry, every so often I need to check my key to make sure that I am not, messing things up. So this is Indian yellow hue, which is PY108. And this is really nice. This is like really warm. It almost reminds me of a slightly less rich version of quinacridone gold. I'll show you in a second and we'll see if you agree. It's 8 out of 8 light fastness, medium staining, non-granulating, and semi-transparent. Yeah, no, I don't think anyone needs to have as many yellows as I have. On the screen, a lot of the paints look very similar. Yeah, they do. I suspect they will, but maybe what I will do after is also like put up a picture in the community tab so that you guys can see it a bit closer. Some of them, I'm not gonna lie, are very similar, but others, like if you look at it maybe from row to row, I feel like you can see that it's slowly getting warmer. This is a really nice yellow, Indian yellow. Next, we have nickel azo yellow. Do we? Why does that look so? Let me just double check. No. See, this is why I have to double check. Yeah, because we don't have, the order is slightly different. So this is actually cadmium yellow deep. And which is here. When I find nickel azo yellow, I will come back to it and I will swatch it. I was thinking it was looking too orangey to be correct. Oh, is it being discontinued? But it's so nice. Then we have, so I think this key is probably the better one to follow. Hansa Yellow Deep. Is that what we have next? Yes. Which is here. And this is PY65. It is 8 out of 8 light fastness, staining, non-granulating, and transparent, apparently. Time will tell. I always find that sometimes if they say it's transparent, when I put it down, I disagree. And then when it dries, I'm like, okay, fair play. It was. What do we have next? Golden yellow. So see, for me, I'll show you. So for me, I tend to have probably 3 yellows. So I'll have like a cool lemon yellow kind of thing. I will then have um like a warm-ish yellow, and my warm, or maybe 2 yellows. My warmish yellow might be a new gamboge, it might be a quinacridone gold, that kind of feel. And actually my third technical yellow will be like an earth tone yellow, so like a yellow ochre, for example. But oddly enough, I haven't like Naples yellow. I featured it in the favorites video because so many people love that color. But I don't tend to use it very much. Then we have iso indolent yellow, which is here. Have to wonder where I have put. Oh, do you know what it is? Hold on, I'll do this. Lovely. Now, yeah. It's so funny seeing the colors next to each other because it almost feels like what I what I see changes. Does that make sense? Like I think a color is really warm and then I swatch something that's even warmer and I'm like, oh, it's not actually that warm because now I'm like this yellow is an indolent yellow deep, which is PY 110, 7 out of 8 light fastness, medium staining, medium granulating, and transparent is beautiful. And then we have oh, now it's gonna get tricky. Permanent orange. I have to wonder where I put my nickel azo yellow. Do you know what it is? For reasons unknown, in the like, because I followed in order to get the printouts, I followed the order that is on the booklets, like the PDF of all the Roman Szmal colors. And for reasons unknown, nickel azo yellow is on the 4th page. So it goes like you go through the yellows to the reds to the blues, and then somehow, like here, right before the earth tones, are a whole bunch of yellows. So I'll put that here. And we have permanent orange. Guess I should change the banner. Might leave the banner. Tommy, are you a fan of oranges? I don't tend to use them much in my art or otherwise. I think the last time I used orange was in that live stream where someone told me to mix orange and teal, and I was very confused as to why. And then like the art ended up being really lovely. But that was pretty much where it ended. Next we have permanent yellow, which again looks very orangey. I don't know why. So sorry, the permanent orange is PO59. It's 8 out of 8 light fastness. It's staining, non-granulating, and transparent. And then we have permanent yellow here, which to me just looks like orange. It is 7 to 8 out of 8 light fastness, staining, non-granulating, and semi-transparent. Next, we have golden orange. Oh, see, I can appreciate that oranges are nice. I just don't know how to use them in art, apart from like maybe dulling down a green. Tell me which colors you'd like to see swatched next. Yeah, don't use oranges. Oh, so tell me, Astroglio, how do you use that? Astrosay. This golden orange is PO62. It is 8 out of 8 light fastness, medium staining, medium granulating. That should be interesting, and semi-transparent. And then we have some that I added for the banter. So Nickel Azo Yellow is here. It looks green. You can't see it. Hold on. It almost like looks green in the pan, but which is why I label everything with a Sharpie. And it is PY 150, which is a beloved component in our quinacridone golds. It's 8 out of 8 light fastness, medium staining, non-granulating, and transparent. And it is beautiful. I can see, oh, in galaxies, I can see core being excellent for galaxies because it just like runs across the page and has very much a mind of its own. That's Coke that you're hearing. Oranges and trees. I don't think it's weird. I think, you know, it's fair enough given that I've said it so many times. I only have prawn crackers and they're kind of orangey too. I think we've started something. Yeah, I love Nickel as a yellow as well. It's beautiful. And then we have quinacridone gold hue. So this set is like, you know, when I'm in the studio and I think I'm going to use like a whole bunch of yellows, I bring this out. Otherwise, I have like a smaller set of Roman Szmal, well, 2 smaller sets of Roman Szmal. But I have finished my Quin Gold hue in that, and I have finished and I've started like making a dent in this one as well. So it's one of my like go-to colors. It's Quin Gold, which is PR102, sorry, Quin Gold hue, because they also have a Quin Gold, which is still a hue, but has a slightly different name. So this one has PR102 and PY150. It is 8 out of 8 light fastness, staining, and medium granulating, and transparent. And it is beautiful. I think so. I want oranges now. I want Coke. Then we have Quin Gold, which is again a hue, but it's just called Quin Gold. And this is getting discontinued, unfortunately. It is PY150 and PO48. And I've made a whole like separate video comparing Quin Golds across different brands with both the ones with PO48, which is what is getting discontinued, and the ones without PO48. And I'll link it down below for you once the video is over if you are interested in that as well. And then we have Naples Yellow Light. The order that I have put is funny. Here. Yeah, so I know, so I featured the Naples Yellows as a whole in the favorites video because it seemed to be, this one's a little bit harder to re-wet. Not sure why. I'm going to add some more water. Because it seems to be like a favorite. So many people talk about this. So it had to get like a honorary mention, even though I don't tend to use it as much. I might try, see what's special about it. It is PW6, PY53, PBR24, 8 out of 8 light fastness, medium staining, non-granulating, and semi-opaque. And are they discontinuing? So they're going to discontinue the I guess color. So the 310. This is what they're going to discontinue. Quin Gold, which because the PO48 is getting discontinued, and instead what they have created is Quin Gold Hue, which instead of having the PO48 has PR102. Hope that makes sense, Pablo. Which color should we do next? I will catch up on the chat and see what you guys vote for. Yeah, so Daniel Smith has lots of PO48, but not every brand has. And I think that, so I need to find the video. There's a video that I watched where the CEO of Daniel Smith said they had 15 years worth, but I think that was a few years ago. So I think it was maybe like 4 years ago. So he has 11 years left. I just didn't know if they would then, what would they do with the price if they're the only ones who have PO48, basically, was my concern. Seeing pinks and purples. So the pinks kind of like, these are the options that we have, right? We continue with the orange, like go into more oranges and reds, which then I think eventually turn into pinks. Or we have purples. Shall we do purples? There's a few purples and they're beautiful. So let's do purples. And that's what we have so far with the yellows. I don't know why in my head it always makes sense to start with yellows, move to reds, and then make my way through. But I guess because the order can change, it doesn't matter what we do. Oh, I can't tell you how much I love these swatch cards. In the name of tooting my own horn, give credit where credit is due. I just love that they were quicker to do. Does that make sense? That I didn't have to do the doodles over and over and over again. I think I made like 50 or 40. And then from there, I just mixed and matched, copied and pasted. Ta-da! We're on purples. Beautiful palette. I call this beloved palette number 2. That video was from 2 years ago. Yeah, so it was from a number of years. So I think we definitely have over a decade of PO48 left with Daniel Smith, but I don't know about with everybody else. And Roman Szmal have said that they're going to discontinue their PO48 containing colors. So purples, starting with Quin Magenta, we bring out our key. Where is this key? Okay, fine. Technically pinkish, but still. Yeah, that's exactly the kind of energy I was going for. Do you know what I might do? I'm going to change my water, not because it's dirty, but because we are going from yellows to purples and I don't want to be making browns. Does that make sense? So give me 2 seconds. I'll just change the water. I'm back. Hello. Creating cute art, you're too kind. I was lucky enough, didn't have any work today. So it's been like a pretty chill day. I spent most of the day actually editing the video that in the end I haven't even put up yet, but it was going to take like 2 hours to upload. And like I said, when mood strikes to go live, I just go live. So I was like, okay, forget the video that I've been working on all day. I want to go live now. So we will do purples. I've got 2 cups this time. Um, it's so funny. I had a community poll where I asked you guys like how many pots do you use when you're doing watercolor painting? And there were so many so many responses. Because yeah, one of my wonderful Kofi members had shared a picture of her jars and they were divided in a way that I hadn't like thought of before. And I was like, oh, I am so curious to know what everybody else does. Exactly. That's literally what I'm doing. Yeah, Tracy, that's what I do. What's the video gonna be on? Do you guys want spoilers? Or do you want to be surprised tomorrow? Thank you, Moni. Oh my gosh. Moni is too funny. Um no, yeah, I literally I put on makeup in 3 minutes, and I know that because it was 7:45. I hadn't, I wasn't ready yet, or 8:45 rather, and I wasn't ready for the live stream yet. And all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna look tired. Let me just put on a lick of makeup. Oh, spoilers, spoil. Cool. This is quinacridone magenta, which is PR122, beautiful pigment. It's 8 out of 8 light fastness, staining, non-granulating, and semi-transparent. And now we're going on to quin pink, as I tell you that for my birthday, my sisters were kind enough to take me on a surprise trip to Budapest. So this video is essentially highlighting some of the time that I spent there and some of the art that I created while there. Don't know why vlogs take me so long to edit. But it just I think it like it made my day because you like watch it back and then you remember the jokes that you were making and you remember the good time that you had. So I hope that you enjoy it. It's more so like personal in terms of like more so about me than art, but you know, I like to share. This Quin Pink, ooh, is again PR122. It's 8 out of 8 light fastness. It is staining, non-granulating, and transparent. Quick question. Is PR122 what kind of never mind. It's beautiful. I may make this. I just want to lift it a little bit so that we can see like, see it light and see it dark as well. If that makes sense. And going to lift here a little bit as well. I love art vlogs as well. See, here's the thing, right? Like, hold on. I feel like my head isn't actually in the screen. Okay, so when it comes to like art vlogs, I love watching them. And I just feel like I sometimes get so distracted, not in a bad way, but distracted in the moment that I forget to like record. So I was joking with creating cute art about I could make a compilation of videos basically saying, hey guys, today I'm going to vlog, because like I think I've said that maybe like 60 times and then I forget to vlog the rest of the day. But I would love to do like an art vlog and show you guys what I'm doing. My sisters are not in the video, so their voices are in the video, but not them. Or not like their faces, if that makes sense. I think the back of my sister's head managed to make quite a few appearances. But I am not sharing them yet. Maybe one day, I don't know. I don't know if I will, if I'm honest. One sister really likes painting and well, actually both of them are quite creative, so I guess it wouldn't be like, it would still make sense. Yeah, Mike, honestly, I have the best. I hope you guys enjoy it because I have the best family. And it was a surprise, as in like I then found out that my sister had actually booked this in like October, and just managed to like keep it a secret. And then she sent me like this really cute invitation to be like, oh, be free on these days and pack a bag kind of thing, and still didn't tell me where we were going. And then when I got to the airport, I found out that my other sister was coming as well, like the youngest was coming as well. Like, yeah, I am very fortunate. This is quinacridone fuchsia, which is PR202. It is 8 out of 8 light fastness, staining, medium granulation, and semi-transparent. And I love quinacridone colors because they are so beautifully rich. And this is like a really nice moody purple as well. I need to change the color name. Oh yeah, thank you. Pinks and purples. Good looking out. Thank you, Pablo. Oh, you don't like art vlogs. See, I like the oh guys, I can't remember her name. Really big on YouTube. Oh, how can I not remember her name? But she does like art vlogs all the time, like really chill vibe, wears beanie hats, has short hair. Oh yeah, Lee Ellickson. I was thinking like Ellie something. Yeah, Lee Ellickson. I like her vlogs because they're like so chill. And she's just like creating art or unboxing, or it's hardly ever outside her vlog, outside her art studio. But I don't know quite how to do that. Does that make sense? I think with everything that you get inspired by, it's about like, yes, drawing inspiration from there, but then making it your own and doing it in a way that works for you. And I haven't yet found that way. So I think when I go on holidays, I find it a bit better, but I would like to do it with more everyday things. And I think part of the reason that I struggle with it is that I want my videos to provide value as well as entertainment. And I feel like sometimes if I'm doing a vlog, I don't quite know how to provide value if I am just living my life. Like, it's like, oh, um, today I'm going to like, I don't know. That's why I don't know why I'm telling you all this, but that's like the thoughts behind why it's taken me so long to actually do non-traveling art vlogs that are proper art vlogs. That's what I feel like as well. My life is boring. You guys will literally just be watching me paint. So then shouldn't I just make it a painting video as opposed to a vlog? This is quinacridone purple. It is PV55, 8 out of 8 light fastness, non-staining, medium granulating, and semi-transparent. And like I said, I love quinacridones. I love purples. So Miss Ebony, thank you. That was a good shout. I feel very in my element. Next, we have quinacridone violet. Let me pick up some water. Oh, bye, Patricia. Thank you so much for joining. Oh, got to club being challenged. Oh. I hope you sleep well. I will sleep once this finishes at some point. I just don't know what time that would be. I'm just checking. What is it to vlog? I eat chips. Honestly, if I were to do a vlog, it would be like you would. This is Quinn Violet, by the way. You would watch me, like you would watch me watch TV. Like I'm either watching TV or I'm making YouTube videos. um, or like I am having me time where I am not recording it, right? As in like personal art time. I'm trying to have more personal art time where I don't record the art that I create. Sod's Law, the art that I then end up creating, I really like and I wish I had the process of, but there's just a freedom about being able to create where I want, when I want, and not have to set up a camera. So it's like trying to get balance with YouTube. This is quinacridone violet. It is PV19, 8 out of 8 light fastness. It is staining, non-granulating, and semi-transparent. Next, we have Perylene Violet, which is number 6 right here. Let me pick it up. I don't think I've seen Mirabala's vlogs. Oh, this is so nice. This looks so moody. Almost looks like a Bordeaux. I don't drink, but you know what I mean. Like a wine red. But yeah, I don't know, like I find that I just like watching Lee's vlogs. I don't know. Or like having it in the background, like it's good background kind of, art. And I can imagine there must be quite a lot of effort going behind it, different angles and moving things around. This one is Cobalt Violet Light. Like, okay, I love Roman Szmal, but there isn't a Cobalt Violet I have come across yet that I actually like. So we shall see. My expectations are low. Yeah, I also do that. What did I miss, Maggie? What did you say? I want to see. What's the last one? Oh, the purpley pink one. Did you draw these florals yourself? Yes. So wait, first to answer Maggie's question, I'm going to go through them quickly to make sure that you can see them. Just dropped paint on my foot. This is Quin Magenta, PR122. Quin Pink, by Quin I mean quinacridone, PR122. Quinacridone Fuchsia, PR202. Quinacridone Purple, PV55. Quinacridone Violet, PV19, and Pyroline Violet, PV29, 8 out of 8 light fastness, staining, non-granulating, and transparent, and absolutely beautiful and nice and moody. And I hope that answered them. And then a watercolorist. Yeah, so I drew them on Procreate on my iPad, and then I moved them over to Canva, and from there I was just able to like move them around, like add them in different places to make sure that they're distributed in a way that I like. Because if you've seen like my swatch book video, I like to swatch in lots of different ways and on top of lots of different kind of doodles. But I'm not gonna lie, I was intimidated about doing 180 doodles. I was like, how many different leaves can I think of, and how can I do it over and over and over again before like even swatching it? So this was just the perfect way for me. What's the name of the art creation? So I do have a art creations book. My last video, in fact, highlights the art that I've created in it, and I've did gouache, pencils, neocolors. I don't think I did any watercolors in there. I will have to double check. But yeah, it's like a really nice low pressure kind of book. I wouldn't do any extravagant or finished pieces on there. I wouldn't necessarily use it as my primary watercolor sketchbook either. But for like low pressure messing around, I think it's a good sketchbook. It almost feels like a notebook than a sketchbook, but you know what I mean, like a plain notebook. Oh, I also watch Apple Cheek sometimes. This is, did I say Cobalt Violet Light, PV49, 8 out of 8 light fastness, non-staining, granulating, and semi-transparent. And then this one that I'm doing now is Ultramarine Pink. Who even knew Ultramarine had a pink? It is PR259, 8 out of 8 light fastness, medium staining, granulating, and semi-transparent. And this is like a really nice subtle pink. It's got like quite a romantic vibe about it. Like, I don't know if that makes sense to you guys when I mean like a nice romantic pink or like a vintage pink. Almost like a pinkier Potter's pink, if that makes sense. Quin purple was the one. Yeah, quin purple. I just love quin colors like as a whole. I love that they are transparent or semi-transparent. I love how vibrant they are. I love how like punchy. Like I'm a quin kind of girl. I'm not a low tinting kind of girl. Mm. I did, you know what? I went to I went to paint in a cafe for like the first time ever, and it was so much fun. Um, they're currently doing construction work in my building, so that during the day there is such loud drilling that I can't even hear my TV on max. I can't hear my laptop on max. That's how loud it is. If I'm on the phone, people can't hear what I'm saying. Um, and so it's just a hard place to like be in. So I left and took my art supplies with me, but it ended up being such a nice time, just like relaxing, headphones on, hot chocolate, and painting. I recorded it almost like for a shorts kind of thing, so I did like a few quick snippets. Um, but I didn't do like a proper YouTube video because again, I was like, oh, I don't know. I wasn't really prepared to enjoy it as much as I did, if that makes sense, because I was in such a bad mood. I just needed to get out of the house. Um, no problem at all. I also have, so this is manganese violet. It is PV16 and it is 8 out of 8 light fastness, medium staining, granulating, and semi-transparent. That doesn't look like manganese violet, does it? Is it me? But it is. I thought it would be lighter. Like, you know, usually they're quite low tinting. Can you see that? Next, we have ultramarine violet. Which is PV15, 8 out of 8 light fastness, medium staining, granulating, and semi-transparent. And this, I'm confused. This I thought would be like super bright because of the name, because of the ultramarine. But it's got less, like it's low tinting, you know, it's lighter. Can you see it? Then we have cobalt violet deep. A little bit of ASMR. And this is PV14. Okay, I must say I'm surprised. I thought I would hate the cobalt violets. Honestly, if you look back on that Daniel, like creating my Daniel Smith watercolor palette, the very first, video of that version that I did, you will see and hear just part of my disappointment and frustration when it came to cobalt violet. I thought it had expired or something. I thought it was just binder. It was just horrible, but this is wonderful. It is 8 out of 8 light fastness, non-staining, granulating, semi-transparent. And is it as tinting as dioxazine violet? Absolutely not. But is it beautiful? Yes. Yes, it is. Speaking of which, hold on. This one is dioxazine violet. Interesting. This is a little bit, it's fighting being reactivated more so than any have done thus far, which is unusual. So we have PV37. It is 8 out of 8 light fastness. This doesn't disappoint in any brand, although normally it's PV23, no? PV37, it is 8 out of 8 light fastness. it is staining, medium granulating, and it is transparent, which will be, I don't know if we'll be able to see it though, because it's so dark. Like, can you tell if it's transparent? Time will tell. Oh, thank you. Yeah, they are truly beautiful. It broke my heart to see the prices go up. And I was like, I knew it would happen. It's only a matter of time, right? Everything else has gone up. But it hurt. It really hurt. That's why I was like, oh, let me do this now. I know it may not make sense because obviously I have all these watercolors, but I was thinking about getting half pans because I have quite a few trips coming up and I thought it would be helpful to have a smaller consolidated palette. So I thought, okay, if I swatch all of these out, I will be able to pick out my favorites. Oh gosh. Honestly, watercolor is bae. Gotta love watercolor. This is Mineral Violet, which is PB29 and PV19. And this granulates beautifully. I should made it bigger. But with granulation, as is usually the case, lift some. You want me to lift some more of the purple? There we go. What did I, or did you not want me to lift? I am honestly so surprised because I was like, oh, I hate cobalt violets. And then hands down, I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Like the Daniel Smith cobalt violet. Yeah, I hate it. I don't even know. It's so bad that I don't even know if I have a dud. That's how I feel. What did I miss, Catherine? By the way, if you're asking me a question, if you don't mind like writing question in caps beforehand so that I can see it, because sometimes it is hard for me to keep track. And ask again, I don't mind. The purple's so beautiful. And if you're also going to near Cornelissen and Sons, what else is there? There's also Choosing Keeping, and I have a video about that if you want to see the inside. But Choosing Keeping is like beautiful, right? But they have like very novel, specific kind of art supplies. So if you also want more, like, you know, fine art supplies, maybe like 3 minutes walk away from Choosing Keeping, there's London Graphic Center, and they tend to have a bit more art supplies as well. So you can make a day of it. Like when I went, I literally walked from London Graphic Center to Choosing Keeping to Cornelisson's and Sons, and then I went home. Wonderful day. This is, so that was, I've told you, Mineral Violet. This is Misty Morning, which is 7 out of 8 light fastness, medium staining, granulating. It is PG50 mixed with PV19. And this is a color, I'm not going to lie, that I was very confused by when people kept telling me to try it, because I was like, oh, it just looks like a dirty blue. Like a, you know, but honestly, just watch it. Like I'm just adding some more water so that it can do its thing. um but yeah, just watch it dry. We'll come back to it later and then you can see it is beautiful. It really is. Might make it extend it a little bit more. Then we have another one that no one talks about, and I was like, hey, this is actually really nice. How did we not know about this? And this is Shadow Violet Light. And I feel like we always talk about Shadow Violet. Wait, am I picking the right one? Nope. See, that's why I always have to keep double checking. So this is Shadow Violet Light. And I'm just going to, because I keep tell me if you are, do you double dip? I keep double dipping when I do like watercolors. And what I mean by that is that instead of mixing on a palette, I'll just pick up color with the other color from the pan. So sometimes there's a mixture of colors on top and I just have to clean it a little bit. I don't mind, but I can imagine that it it would annoy people a lot. So this is a Shadow Violet Light. And it is PB36, PB29, and PR176. And this, my friends, is stunning. It's like, I mean, it is like Shadow Violet, but it leans a little bit more purple. Again, it granulates. It's 7 out of 8 light fastness, staining, granulating, and semi-transparent. Well, that's the thing. I don't quite know. Like, that's with a lot of these beautiful specialty colors. I would love them in, like, I'm gonna lift some. I would love them in backgrounds, and I feel like because I do florals and abstract florals at that, I'm quite lucky in that really and truly I could make anything work. But otherwise, I can appreciate Durwood, the like difficulty of just knowing how and where to use these colors. For me, Shadow Violet, without a doubt, in shadows, beautiful. Just adding a bit more water so that we can see all the granulation. And then we have Shadow Violet itself, which is again wonderful. And it is PG50, PB29, and PV19. So a completely different blend of colors. Look at that. 8 out of 8 light fastness, staining, granulating, semi-transparent, and an absolute gem. It is beautiful. I feel like that is a wonderful description of it. So do I. I really do love using Shadow Violet, both Shadow Violet and Shadow Violet Light in shadows. Yeah, I wonder if I've made it light enough for us to see, but I think I have in parts of it. And then we have Lavender, which is PW6, PB29, and PV16. This feels like wash. It is 8 out of 8 light fastness, non-staining, non-granulating, and opaque. Yeah, beautiful color, kind of like a baby. Well, I guess like a lavender, like a baby blue, like a purple leaning baby blue. Is that what you would expect from a lavender? But look at that block of color. That literally looks like wash. And that, my friends, is the purples in the Roman Szmal collection. And it's funny because, like, when you compare it to the yellows, there's so many yellows. I almost feel like there aren't that many purples, and yet each purple makes such a like strong impression. Do you know what I mean? Like when you look at the purples, you won't be like, oh yeah, well those purples look the same. It's every single purple has a completely different personality and is beautiful. Let me come in a bit closer for you. Sorry, in hindsight, I realized that the text is small. So it's helpful for me, but the whole point of me putting the text on was so that you would be able to see it as well. So I'll try that again. Look at that. I'm so impressed. And I'm also shocked that I don't hate the cobalt violets. Hey, Erica, welcome. We have swatched out all the yellow Roman Szmals. We've just swatched out all the purple Roman Szmals. And now, what colors would you guys like next? So I'm so happy. I feel so happy about having these. I feel so organized as well. Oh, Should we do greens? Or should we do blues? It's a toughie. So let me show you how many there are of each, and then you can tell me. So this is like how many greens. There's plenty of greens, but there's also plenty of blues. Can you see that? Greens, greens. Not enough tinting strength for me. Yeah, that's the thing. I wouldn't use it for mixing, but it's definitely like, watch back that video. It still hurts my soul. I still have it actually. I have it somewhere because hope is the last to die, no? So I thought that perhaps I would look at it one day and be like, oh, this is the perfect violet for me. I love low tinting, but that hasn't yet happened. How does shadow violet compare to Shibish gray? I will show you in a second, because actually in a separate video in the Roman Szmal favorites, I compared the two side by side, both in the live stream and in the edited video. Green, blues. Let's see, votes, blues, greens. We're on a tie, guys. Who's going to be the tiebreaker? Which one am I? Let me do. Oh, I'm stuck. We'll probably do both in the video. How about that? We'll do both in a video, but we will start with the blues. Okay, cool. I agree. Blues it is. Banner. Is anyone else painting as well? What's everyone doing while hanging out? Although I do tend to find that when I'm watching live streams, I'm like literally, well, it depends. If I'm chatting in the chat, then I'm just chatting in the chat. I haven't got it in me to like be doing other stuff and and also watching the live streams. So we'll put this to the side. We'll bring this here. Do you paint on the back? Because now I'm wondering, you know, like with the back of these, it is like 100% cotton. Maybe I will do more swatches on there. I don't know. Or like play with colors. But the paper feels so good. I just can't use only the front for swatching. So we have blues. Painting. Oh, what are you painting, Amy? Hey. Welcome. I don't think I've seen your name before. Welcome to the fun. Flipping through a book about cave paintings. Oh, doing a cross stitch. Oh my gosh. You must have the patience of a saint. 5 years. You do use the back perfect. I think I'm going to. Perusing through shopping sites. That's literally what I was doing, which I think is what tipped me over to the edge of actually deciding to do this live stream, because I was like, oh, I might end up getting a few more colors. But first, I have to see exactly what colors I have and what colors I would want to get half pans of so that I can take them with me when I go away. So we're going to start with ultramarine light and just being extra sure. 1, 2, 3, yes. What I need to do is like, I end up doing another video. Well, I end up swatching again because I need to create a swatch card for the actual palettes, if that makes sense. So this is PB29. And we'll see how it compares to the normal ultramarine. It is 8 out of 8 light fastness. It is staining, granulating, and semi-transparent. Oh, yeah. So thank you for sharing, Cami. I've also recently discovered Art Miranda, which is a wonderful site in Spain. I haven't used them yet to myself, which is why I haven't like recommended them, but they have quite a few good things. They I don't know if so they're currently also having a sale, and I think it depends, but I think double check both. I think that while on sale, the Roman Szmal on Jackson's is cheaper than the ones on Aunt Miranda, but perhaps when they're not on sale, Aunt Miranda might end up being cheaper. But like I said, double check. And also if you find that there are some um colors that you wanted that are not on Jackson's anymore, then check out Aunt Miranda. You may find it there. This is French Ultramarine, which, oh, nice and rich. Ultramarine is just like, it's just like the essential color. It like everyone loves it. It's just a staple. It's nice and cheap. It's just a great solid blue that doesn't get enough love. Everyone knows it's great and no one really talks about it. It is 8 out of 8 light fastness. It is staining, granulating, and semi-transparent. Oh, that sounds delicious. I am actually getting hungry. Oh, bye, Paolo. Thank you so much for joining. And hope teaching goes well for the rest of the week. Yeah, I think I'm going to. I'll probably use like the front for the swatches and the back for like playing with color. Just like doing different mixes. Next we have ultramarine green shade. Who knew there were so many different types of ultramarine? It is again PB29, not as rich as the French ultramarine. So it's PB29. It is 8 out of 8 light fastness. Staining, granulating, and semi-transparent. I'm going to pick up some more just to see if that makes much of a difference. Hey, John. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, the orders come very quickly. I think even in the UK, they said something like if you spend over £100, you get it for free. And they have like, my thing is that I wanted to get like rolls of paper from there. And I don't know if it will be okay. I hope it will be okay. It should be fine. I'm just thinking about shippings and customs and things. But it's cheaper on there than Jackson's. My bad. I'm like costing everyone money. Yeah, they have like a whole bunch of different colors. And also like quite a good range of dot cards as well, if you're into that. Then we have Ultramarine Intense. Third row. Which is again PB29. It is 8 out of 8 light fastness. It is medium staining, medium granulating, and semi-transparent. So, hold on. We will take a quick look at these four ultramarines to try and figure out if there is a difference or if one would lean towards one PB29, so one ultramarine over the other. And if you think there's a clear difference, then let me know. The only clear difference I can see is the ultramarine light, which to me looks like a cerulean, or like it's certainly lighter. I love French ultramarine because to me it looks like a warmer version. Does that make sense? Like I think that would make really nice purples. I wonder if that's why. So this one is warmer, this one is cooler, so this one's leaning more towards blues and greens, this one's leaning more towards purples. Ultramarine Intense, I can't tell the difference. It's like an in-between. But looking at what is described, it granulates less than the others, in theory. We'll see as they dry. Time to stretch and hydrate. Oh, ow. Thanks for the reminder. Oh, cracked my back, so definitely needed to stretch. Oh, my aunt lives in Fort Worth. What did I want to ask you guys? Can't remember. It'll come back to me. I agree. I think that swatching is a great way to break the seal. It took me a long time to realize. But otherwise, I will just end up holding onto paints, not painting with them. And even here, the colors that I have used are the colors that I kind of like knew before and ran out of, but I hadn't really felt confident enough to start using brand new colors. Apart from when I did the swatching video, swatching your favorite 30. This is Cobalt Blue Deep. It is PB74. It is 8 out of 8 light fastness, medium staining, granulating, and semi-opaque. If you want to take a closer look, let me know. Oh, can you imagine? Maybe next time when I come to, I've only been to New York once. New York? I was talking about New York with friends earlier. That's why it's stuck in my head. But I've only been to Dallas once, but I would love to go back. So everything's bigger in Texas. We have, what's next? Aquarius. Sorry, I don't know why I'm sounding like a chain smoker. We have Aquarius Cobalt Blue. I am intrigued. It is PB72. Haven't heard of that before. 8 out of 8 light fastness, medium staining, granulating, and semi-opaque. Doesn't look that opaque, but it is granulating. And it's nice. I'm gonna add some more. It's like a soft sky. Christine, you're not alone. I definitely do this. I'm trying to, like, I'm going to be going through a massive swatching period. I'll tell you that, guys, for free, because I don't know. I just sometimes it's just nice, switch off and just swatch. So let's come to Texas. I will. I certainly will. I mean, like, my family is there, and I did have a really good time. Ultramarine light is made for skies. Yeah, but it's like a darker blue than I would expect for a sky, if that makes sense. We have Cobalt Blue, which is PB28. It is 8 out of 8 light fastness, medium staining, granulating, and semi-opaque. No, honestly, I do the same. Oh yeah, oh my gosh, an hour 23 minutes in, and I'm like, oh, I haven't asked anyone to like the video. If you're enjoying the video, if it's helpful to see the swatches, or it's just relaxing, or you're having a good time, then please remember to hit the like button, and consider subscribing. I really appreciate it. And as you can tell, I am terrible at promoting myself. Thank you so much, Tracy. Cobalt Cerulean Blue, we're going to do, which is the 5th one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. I asked a question on the community tab, like last week or 2 weeks ago, and I was like, are you subscribed to my channel? Which is a funny question, right? Because if you are seeing my community posts, I assume you're like quite engaged with my channel. Does that make sense? Like I see the community posts of Moni of creating cute art. Like it's people who like I actively go and watch their channel. Um, so naturally I'm subscribed. So I thought the answer would be 100% yes, or whoops, I will do that now. but but like 4% of people, like it was something like I can't remember, it was something like 94% said yes, I'm subscribed. 2% were like, whoops, I forgot to subscribe, but I'm gonna subscribe now. And like 4% were like, no. And I'm like, so you watch my videos, you engage in my community posts, and you still won't subscribe. What is going on? But yeah, it's funny. Uh I am just checking. But yeah, I think that sometimes we put too much pressure to create something, and ultimately, if you're not doing it for work, right? And you're just doing it for yourself, then do whatever makes you happy. If it's swatching, swatch. If it's a 10-hour painting session, do that. If it's like doing doodles, then do that as well. Like I think sometimes we put so much unnecessary pressure to create something or to develop a style or to do this or to do a challenge, and at the end of the day there's no point doing those things if you don't enjoy it, if it will make you miserable. You might as well do what makes you happy. See, this is what looks like a sky blue to me. Cobalt colon blue, PB35, 8 out of 8 light fastness, medium staining, granulating, and semi-opaque. Hey, Alicia, you are in London. Oh, that's cool. Are you going to make your way around all the art shops? And just I don't even know where I would begin. It's so bad because I've lived in London or around London for so long, and I haven't like done any of the, tour guide, like touristy things. Um, but I was thinking of doing that. Um, in particular, I really want to go on the London Eye. It's expensive, but it's been expensive for years and the price just keeps going up. So I think it's just like a bucket list kind of thing that I need to do. And it's half an hour. So part of me is like, oh, I could go up there and I could draw or I could paint. Because half an hour is a bit of a long time to look at the same thing otherwise. Because I was thinking of going by myself. But maybe I'll go with my sister. Mm, I don't know what this means, but I will put it up. And do not think I am not subscribed. Do not click on subscribe. Oh, you know what? It's so funny you should mention that, Moni, because someone was telling me that they had tried to subscribe to a channel like 3 times and it kept not working. But perhaps that is why. This is Royal Blue, which is PW6, PB29, PB15-1. It is 8 out of 8 light fastness, medium staining, non-granulating, and semi-opaque. To me, it's like granulating a little bit, but we will see. As for, the other thing I should have mentioned for the doodles, like I did make them available for all my Ko-fi members. The last time I did them. So if you wanted to like use the images either as inspiration or for bujos or just to actually swatch over, you can do that. Cobalt Sea Blue is my favorite. Yeah, you're the one who got me onto that before, Delwood. I did not realize that. You're the reason that I started using it. Next we have Phthalo Blue Red Shade. Where are we? Phthalo Blue Red Shade is number 7 here. Didn't I say I was going to keep my hand here so I could keep track? Oh, good night, Catherine. Thank you so much for joining. I love sky blue as well for that same, the royal blue. It is, I think it is part of the, oh no, it's blue sky that's part of, where's blue sky? We're coming to it. I thought this was what's in the urban sketching palette, but it's not. So this is phthalo blue red shade. Oh, gotta love a phthalo. Super bright, super punchy. I only swiped on the pan a little bit, moved it all around, and still it is incredibly potent. I like it for mixing primarily because it's just so strong. How else am I going to use it? Or for like backgrounds, but more so mixing. Uh, Thank you for sharing ultramarine too. I'll leave that up so everyone can see. Oh, good night, a watercolorist. Thank you for joining. I don't know what time I'll finish. I suspect soon-ish. I'll probably finish the blues and the greens, and then we can do a separate video where I'll do the earth tones if people would want to see that. I always find I'm less inspired by the earth tones than all the other colors. I don't know if you can tell, like even with the Roman Szmal, I started with the yellows and did the blues, the greens, everything else. And then when it came to the earth tones, I just because um like swatching videos I find takes so much effort to create when it comes to like, oh, good night, John. When it comes to like, zooming in and getting the angles right and like cropping and cutting out all the dead time, all that just takes so much work that I just couldn't bring myself to do it for the earth tones video with the dot cards. Ah, look at this. Beautiful, deep, stunning blue. I've bought this in core as well and in Michael Harding. Hint, hint, future video coming. I haven't tried them yet, but I'm just so drawn by this beautiful moody blue. It's PB60, 8 out of 8 light fastness, highly staining, non-granulating, and semi-transparent. And then we have Lapis Lazuli, the favorite beautiful blue that led to us finding ultramarine blue in our quest for it. This is, I think, expensive. It's an earth pigment. It is 8 out of 8 light fastness, non-staining, granulating, and semi-transparent. But it is so low tinting. So expensive and so low tinting. I don't know how I would use this apart from maybe like a sky. Let me add more water, see if that makes much of a difference. They are. So this is, I only bought one. You guys must think I am so cheap. But yes, I bought a silver black velvet brush in a size 10 because I figured it would be like my, size 10 is like my go-to size, 10, 12. And I just wanted to try it out. Astroglio and quite a few people had said that it's a really good brush. And I knew I had been told this so much that I would tell people when they would ask me about brushes, like, okay, I use Princeton Neptune Aqua Elite and they're good. Princeton Aqua Elite and they're good, but I also know that people recommend the Black Velvet. And I just wanted to know for myself. So yes, I'm using it. So far, so good. It is a lot softer, or to me, it feels a lot softer than my other watercolor brushes, which has meant that when I've done like layering on some of the other paintings that I was doing, because I've been painting like buildings and shadows, it's like gone on really nicely. But actually I didn't get it from Jackson's because I was looking I always look for the cheapest place I can find it. So I actually found it cheaper on Amazon, even though it was on sale on Jackson's. Mm. I know that feeling. I feel like that about Like anytime I want to try a new brand, I ask myself, can I afford to get addicted to this brand? And also, if it's a brand that's hard to get, can I deal with the fact that I will struggle to get it? Or will that put me off from using the paints, which completely defies the point? Um, so yeah, I only got one brush, and I think I'll stick with one brush for now because I'm not a massive brush person. I'm definitely more of a watercolor, um, paint and paper person. This one is Lapis Lazuli. And now I'm going to do Vivinite next. Tracy. So this next one is Vivinite, which looks green in the pan, but we shall see. Mm. Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad. That's one of the things that I also want to like be able to do. I'm planning on doing a lot more live streams, and I would love it to just encourage people to have a bit of a break, right? So I know it's technically still screen time, but if you're like relaxing or you're having your favorite drink or you're painting or you're chatting with other artists, like you're just doing something that counts as me time, as in time for yourself. Um, but yeah, I wanted to do a series of live streams just swatching out the many brands that I need to swatch out so that I can break the seal and start using them. This is the Vivinite Blue Ochre, which is really lovely. It's like, again, low tinting. Both of these for me are low tinting. And it's green. To me, it looks green. Blue Ochre. Don't know. Again, it looks like vintage. All these colors to me that are low tinting just give a very vintage vibe. I'm not seeing any granulating in the Lapis Lazuli, or not much, but I am seeing some in the Vivianite. Oh, thank you for sharing. I haven't got any of the brushes yet. It takes a lot for me to get brushes because I feel like the brushes that I have are quite good. So they would have to bring something special and something different in order for me to get it. For this, it was just because it almost felt like, I keep getting asked, I keep seeing that it's good. And it was less FOMO and more so like I felt like I needed to be able to honestly advise people on whether I think it's a good brush or not. Does that make sense? Like people keep asking me and I keep saying, well, I don't know. Like I heard it's a good brush, try it. Um so that was why eventually I got it. And also, I thought it would be good to have more than one go-to brush. The Rosemary and Co brushes I got was in particular because I wanted to try different shapes. And I do love, like it made me fall in love with the dagger brush. I ended up getting some more actually. I have so many supplies um that I have got that I need to unbox and play around with. And I'm in two minds as to whether I should do an art haul video because I really don't want to encourage people to buy things that they don't need. Um, and I don't want to like, with every haul video, you get people that will absolutely love it and say, yes, thank you for sharing. This is so great and so inspiring. And then people who will hate you and be like, oh, why are you putting up these videos? So we will see. Am I streaming next Saturday? I am not sure. Next Saturday we'll be doing um the video chat with Kofi members. So if anyone wants to join in and wants to paint together and chat and like hear and be heard, then definitely be sure to join my Kofi. I should leave the link for that so that people can actually see. I think I've linked it in the description. Um, but this color is indigo hue. It is PB60 and PBK7. It is 8 out of 8 light fastness, high staining, non-granulating, semi-opaque and beautiful. And it's essentially like black mixed in with indanthrone blue, and it's so deep and rich, which I love. Did someone say? Oh yeah, welcome. Yes, it is the full set. It's the full set of Roman Szmal. Um, I do not know. I am an enabler. I do not know if I'll be able to swatch all of them today because it's already late. But but we will see. We will press on. No, it's on Saturday. It's on the 8th. Saturday the 8th at 6 p.m. UK time. So if you want to join in and you want to paint along, or even if you don't want to paint, sometimes it's just nice to like chat with other artists, then you are welcome to do that. And that is an open invitation to all Ko-fi members. And I've linked it down below for you as well. And then this color is Prussian blue, which is PB27. It is 8 out of 8 light fastness. It is staining, non-granulating, and transparent. I am. I can't help it. You know what it is? I'm like, you know what? If it makes you happy and you're not hurting anyone else and you can afford it and you're not putting yourself into debt, then go for it. You know? Art supplies and traveling are the only things that I spend money on. And even traveling, like my sister keeps teasing me and saying she doesn't know if I'm living the struggle life as character development, like why do I catch the bus and things. But I love spending money on things that I love, and there are certain things that I would rather just not get. This is Prussian blue that we've just done, and then next we're going to do blue sky, which is again part of the urban sketching kit by Roman Szmal. And whoops, almost dropped my ceramic palettes. I'm gonna put that to the side. So this I was quite skeptical about because it's PW6, which is white, with PB15 which is phthalo blue, and I was like, they've mixed white into it. It's going to be like, low quality, but it was actually really good. And like honestly, I was worried because I was like, I've said to everyone publicly for years I love Roman Szmal, and now, will I love this color? Well, but yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. It is 8 out of 8 light fastness. It is medium staining, non-granulating, and semi-opaque. Yeah, exactly. I was honestly, when I saw the PW6, like your heart sinks and you're like, how am I gonna give? How am I gonna break it that I hate it? And I was like, it's the perfect blue. And this is why I then started thinking, okay, you know what? I hardly ever use white. I don't tend to mix white into my watercolors. And I think it's in part because, when you start, you get told if you need to make a color lighter, add more water. There's no place for white. It just makes your watercolors more opaque. That is what I was taught from YouTube because I didn't actually learn how, like, I didn't do fine art or anything. But in reality, I've seen some really beautiful pastel-y mixes with white. And I'm like, I need to try that. And I need to see what it's like for myself. And this was one of the colors that inspired that. Next, we have phthalo blue green shade, which is PB15-3. That tends to be the more popular one everywhere. It is 8 out of 8 light fastness, highly staining as expected, non-granulating, and transparent. Look at that. It is really beautiful. I know phalos are so super bright and saturated, but they are really nice. Look at that. Great minds think alike. No, but you use them in a beautiful way. And I think that's the other thing. Like I was watching, I can't remember her name. I'm so bad with names, which is annoying. But I was watching YouTube and I saw someone kind of talk about or reiterate the fact that ultimately, when you're considering watercolor, when you're considering the brushes, when you're considering the paper, when you're considering all these things, a big part of it is how you use it. So if, for example, you are someone who does lots of layering, then perhaps taking a recommendation from someone who does absolutely no layering and wants really hard edges won't be the best for your art. Um, but it makes sense. This is ocean blue. Beautiful. It's one of the first Roman Szmal colors that I bought, actually. It is PBR 24, PB 15-3. Yeah, that's it. I don't know why I said it as if there was more to come. PBR 24 and PB 15-3. It's 8 out of 8 light fastness. It is staining, medium granulating, and semi-transparent. And again, just a really beautiful color. I'm going to make it a bit lighter so that we can see. Yeah, I've heard. I'm so tempted by Denise's watercolor palette because, you know, like I really trust her opinion. Does that make sense? Every time I look at her YouTube channel, I learn something or I'm inspired to create something, and she really knows her stuff when it comes to watercolors and to pigments, and that's I'm not surprised. You see, Christine, I have famous friends. That's honestly how I feel. Like, part of me, and Moni, let me know. Like, part of me feels like I should make part of the promotion for Kofi to be like, Moni D will be there. Moni D Major is going to be there. The Mightier Pencil is also going to be there. Like, I'm hanging out, with cool people. Next we have Phthalo Turquoise, which is, where is it? Here it is. Phthalo Turquoise right here. This is another one that I got. It's so funny, when I started off, I ended up getting 3 very similar colors. I have not tried them yet. So, Renee, how you're like an absolutely amazing human and you've sent me something. And you know how I have said that sometimes I struggle to use art supplies that I deem to be too precious. Turns out I am very sentimental. And thus it makes it hard for me to use Happy Mail, because I end up treasuring it away and not using it. So I will use them. I will swatch them. I literally have them next to me, looking at me, telling me that this is not the point of me actually having them. It's for me to try them, to see if I like them, to fall in love with them. But part of me is like, oh, but once they're gone, like, they're gone. They're a gift. All my Happy Mail thus far actually has been unused. Maybe that's what I should do the series on, using the precious art supplies that I struggle to use because no, like, I'm just sentimental, which is so funny. Nobody else in my family is sentimental, so you can imagine it's hard for me to explain and be like, oh, I can't use it because I love it so much. No, honestly, no, that's how I feel. That's how I feel about you. Should do that. There's so many, because I feel like you guys are like a support group now. So it can be like a series swatching out everything I have, because it breaks the seal and it does mean that I can feel more comfortable using them, but also like the Happy Mail. I have been very blessed with some incredibly generous people in my life, Renee being one of them. And yeah, and I've received some really incredible Happy Mail over the past like few weeks. And I need to use them. One of them, can I say, this is kind of like a flex. I don't mean to brag, but in addition to like Renee, like Sarah Burns also sent me Happy Mail. Out of nowhere, I came home after, like this nightmare drilling, which just makes me angry. Like, I had to leave the house because I was like, I am becoming angry for no reason. I can't control it. But anyway, so I left the house, I came back and I saw like this package and I was like, what is this? I haven't ordered anything. And then I open it and it's like paints, so many paints. And then I look at the sweetest note and it's from Sarah Burns. She's like, "Hey, I hope that you don't mind. I've sent you some paints." I was like, "You have made my day." I think I even like went and messaged her and I was like, "I was having such a rubbish day." And now like you've absolutely made it. So yeah. See, so Moni, you completely understand. Sometimes like, um it's you want to like take extra care of it. You feel extra precious. I'm not saying this is what we should be doing, but this is certainly how I feel. Yeah, I know. I'm lucky. Some noises just fill you with rage. Honestly, it's just that it is so like I can't be heard. And I've spoken to, like the council and stuff, and they've basically said that, because it's within normal hours, it's completely fine. I'm like, it's surely there must be like a disturbing the peace point where if I can't be heard and I can't work from home and I can't even do meetings at home because I can't be heard and I can't hear what they're saying. And it happens Monday to Sunday, like 7:30 to 6 p.m., 7:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. every day. Surely at some point it just becomes too much, no? Like I just want a bit of a break from it. That's all I want. But my landlord's been very supportive, which is nice. That's how I that's how I feel. That's honestly how I feel. But like she doesn't respond to me. I'm just like, I just want to be your friend. I just that's why I've fallen behind on comments as well. And the reason that I keep falling behind is I read them, right? But I feel like it takes me time to think of a response and I don't want to not reply. Like I don't want to just heart them. I want to actually reply, which then means that there's like hundreds of messages to reply to. And even on a good day, I am not like I have currently 70 unread text messages. I have over 200 unread WhatsApps. Like, I'm not the type of person who's good at replying at messages. And really, I've been impressed with the fact I've been able to reply to to YouTube comments. But yeah, I don't know how. Like, I don't know how to keep up with them. I know that some people like heart them to show that they've been read, but I don't know if like I wouldn't want to upset someone or make them feel like I can't be bothered to reply because that's not the case. So I'm out here replying to messages from 4 months ago and be like, "Hey, I read this 4 months ago, but but 4 months later, here I am replying to your message." Um, just to kind of catch up because I think I got distracted and I didn't say what these were. This is cobalt. This is cobalt turquoise, which is PB16. It is 8 out of 8 light fastness, staining, non-granulating, and transparent. Beautiful color. Again, one of the first ones I got. This right here is cobalt sea blue, which Derwood said was one of their favorites. It hasn't dried yet, but it's one to keep an eye out for when it starts to dry because again, it really granulates quite nicely. It is PB28, 8 out of 8 light fastness, medium staining, granulating, and semi opaque. And then this one is cobalt teal, which is PG50. It is 8 out of 8 light fastness, non staining, medium granulating, and semi opaque. And I quite liked this one because I find that other teals granulate quite a lot, and this one is actually quite like it doesn't really granulate that much. I know they say it does, but one of the reasons that I keep using it is because it doesn't. uh, mm. Money is so funny. That's how I feel about everyone. Like, I still can't believe that there's so many of us on here. Um, and also, ooh, cobalt turquoise. Where are you? Uh, my yes. Yeah, I can't believe that there's so many of us. But yeah, I definitely like fangirled hard when Sarah Burns like replied to messages, and she's just such a nice person. Like even we did a live stream together. When I say it took me, like I was so nervous about everyone, like everyone that I have asked to live stream, I've been in one way or another nervous to do so because I was like, oh, what if they think, I mean, they're nice people. This is not to say that I think that they are bad people and thus would think these things. But when I approach people, you almost get that imposter syndrome where you feel like, how dare I speak to them? Do you know what I mean? That's what I feel like they may feel like, which has never happened. Everyone's been like incredibly amazing. Even creating cute art will tell you when we first did our very first collaboration, because I'd suggested it, and part of me was worried that she would maybe think part of me was just worried because I knew that she had more subscribers than me, and I didn't want to seem like a I don't know, like a I don't know, Yeah, you just have weird thoughts like that, or I just have weird thoughts like that sometimes. So yeah, no, I definitely fangirl hard. Mm, 21 shipping? No. There should be a threshold, Miss Ebony, which sounds like I'm telling you to spend more, but I think they have a certain amount where it might be worth waiting until you're going to do a big shop and then the shipping should drop. Hmm. My bad. I feel like I'm tempting everyone. Jackson's shipping is cheaper. I think for me, it's like something like if I spend over £100, then it's actually cheaper for me to hmm, what's going on? Then it's actually cheaper for me um to buy from Art Miranda, but I haven't done yet. It's just more so the papers that they have that I wanted to look at. I am confused because transparent turquoise is in a place that does not make any sense. Fine. Hey PJ. Good night. Rest well. Oh, she's someone who I again absolutely love. Like, was it last year that I did the um my favorite YouTube artist video? And she was definitely one who was very, very inspiring. But she does not know who I am. Uh, yeah, that's what I tend to do as well. With the shipping, I just wait until I want enough that the shipping is free. It literally hurts my soul to pay for shipping. Um, to me, I would rather, and I know like I think it's good to show it in terms of like transparency. So when I was selling my art, I showed how much the shipping would cost. But then for me, I would rather the price is just higher and I don't know that it's shipping, which 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 I know kind of doesn't make sense, but still it just hurts me sometimes. Uh so one, two, three, transparent turquoise, one, two, three. Right here in the middle of the greens is our last blue, which is transparent turquoise, and this is looking very green, but it is transparent turquoise. This is PB15-3, so phthalo blue, and PG7. And it is 8 out of 8 light fastness, highly staining, non-granulating, and transparent. And I'm checking, this looks very green to me. 1, 2, 3, transparent turquoise. And it's labeled transparent turquoise. Okay, so every check I have done says it's transparent turquoise. Clearly, this is just me. And to be fair, it does look like the label. I'm just surprised. This to me just looks like green. This looks like phthalo green to me. Yeah, no. No matter how much I check, it's still the same. So here are the blues and starting some of the greens. Is there any color that you want to have a closer look at? Oh, beautiful. I'm kind of looking to wonder like which one I should get as half pans. Again, the hope being that they have them as half pans because not all of them are. And I don't know, I'm feeling like Indanthrone blue and indigo, I'm really feeling. I know they're like dark. Maybe I'd get the Indanthrone blue. It's just really, really nice and moody. Oh, love this. Okay. Oh, so I already have the reasons I haven't mentioned cobalt sea blue. I have ocean blue. As in like I have the full pan and I have two full pans. And as much as it makes sense to me to then also get a half pan, there is a limit to my funds. But yeah, the ultramarines I also have. I have ultramarine intense as a half pan. Although I really like French ultramarine. No, it's looking really nice. Like really, really nice. And deep. And then this again reminds me of like a nice romantic color. I almost feel like I could do a palette with all these like low tinting strength colors and they would look like a beautiful vintage palette. So this cobalt turquoise I think would be wonderful inside that. There would also be the cobalt blue. There would be the, are we seeing a theme? The cobalt violet. There would be the ultramarine pink as well. Do you know what I mean? Maybe I'll like swatch that out so that you guys can understand what I mean when I'm talking about a romantic palette. Haven't heard. Just reading the comments. Have to try the indigo. Even the, so this is the other thing I guess I should mention. The indigo is actually like indigo hue, so they've mixed black into the Indanthrone blue as opposed to using the actual indigo. Is there an actual indigo? I feel like there is, but I might be getting it confused with Prussian blue. But I think there is an actual indigo pigment. Yes, I would honestly muted colors. Yeah, I would honestly be honored. Can you imagine? This guy is probably like out here minding his business, and by this guy I mean Roman Szmal, minding his business, and I'm literally here like I love you and I love all you've created. I have blacks and grays, but before that, I think we will do the. This is why like earth tones is two whole very well filled out like things. I feel like this is an earth, like this is a video on its own. But we have greens. Yeah, I think it would be wonderful. I don't tend to use them as much, but I do think that, as in, like, I don't tend to use romantic colors or like muted colors as much, but I'm being drawn to them. So maybe I'll see what happens. Like, I'll sit down with them and see what kind of florals I create. How did you print those? So I essentially did some doodles on Procreate. Do I have my palette, my thing with me? No, I don't know where it is. It must be like on my bed or something. So I did some doodles on Procreate, some leaf doodles on Procreate, and then for everyone who wants to know like the absolute technical stuff, let me know if you want a video. But in a nutshell, I made each doodle a separate layer so that I could move them around freely. I then saved everything so that each doodle is its own separate file, sent them over to Canva, and then I just created an A4 sheet on Canva and I just like copied and pasted the doodles wherever I wanted them. Can you see? And I've done like a blank one and made it available for all Ko-fi members. It's in the shop. I want to say either the shop or no, I think it's in the gallery. And it's available for you guys to use for free as like reference or to use to then print out and swatch. And then once I'd done that, I added all the Roman Szmal details so that I wouldn't have to so that I wouldn't have to write them by hand. And I printed them using my new printer, which is the Epsom 78. I think it's like 7830. I've linked it down below. My one is the A3 version. There's an A4 version that's half the price. And they can both take Dura Bright ink, which resists water. So I'm able to use them as swatches. That is a very long answer, but I hope that that is what you meant and that helps. But honestly, I've loved it because look at all the swatching we've been able to do. It would have taken me forever to write out all that information. Oh. You should have Procreate video because not sure. I know funny, I know like very basics on Procreate. I basically use it like a piece of paper. Although what I've said perhaps doesn't sound like it. I don't know where I've put my iPad. It must be in my bedroom. So I don't know if I know enough for it to actually be helpful. Like I don't know how to do masks or anything like that. I literally just opened a plain page and used the pencil to doodle. And every time that I wanted to do a new doodle, I just created a new layer and then did it again and again and again and again until I had all of them. And I think I created initially like 40. So let's do greens. Shall I? Let me change my water. Last time I went, I brought back another cup so that I wouldn't have to get up so many times. Yeah, so I've linked the printers in the description. It's dependent on whether you want to use A3 or A4. It is massive. Like the one I have is A3 and it is the biggest thing I own. It is absolutely massive. And when it arrived, not only did I struggle to carry it in, but my first thought was like, how am I going to move every year with this mammoth printer? But you know what? The heart wants what the heart wants. I am glad that I got it because it's made my swatching life so much easier. And I was thinking, like, even if I want to do Happy Mail with dot cards again, rather than writing out all the watercolors by hand like 20 times, I will be able to print them out. Thank you. That was my thought. My aim was to kind of, prepare for the future, basically, and set myself up for the future, making my life easier later on. Because, like, I've done doodles with like leaves, I've done florals, I've done tubes, I've done like a whole bunch of different ones, and I'm just slowly building them up and I will just continue to do so. And then it's just honestly a question of copying and pasting them and then printing them out. But the leaf ones that I did last time are on Ko-fi for free for all members. And if anyone has any questions about Ko-fi, please feel free to ask. Because I am always happy to answer. Yeah, I move every year. Sounds like I'm running from something, but it's just for work. This is Cobalt Green Deep. It is PG26, 8 out of 8 light fastness, non-staining, granulating, and semi-opaque. And we are on to greens. Oh, and actually, before that, let me link this so that everyone knows, because I keep forgetting to say things like hit the like button and join Ko-fi. Then, so this, after Cobalt Green Deep, we have Viridian, which is PG18. It is 8 out of 8 light fastness, staining, granulating, and transparent. I'm always let me know your impressions in Viridian. I haven't come across two Viridians that look the same, because I kind of felt like I had a rough idea of what Viridian should look like. But every time I swatch it, it's like it's different. So now I'm like, I don't know what a true, you have a good idea of what like an ultramarine is. So then you can tell if something is like off about an ultramarine. But when it comes to Viridian, I never really truly know. I thought I did because I think I saw two that were similar. And then since then, every single one has been different, low tintin, and just different. Thank you. Not only did I treat myself, you'll see that on Ko-fi, one of my goals for the year was to buy a printer because I've been talking about my broken printer for so long. But I had been putting it off, and then like for me, I've set like the big goal, which we are 14% of the way to, but I'd also set like mini goals. Like once I hit this goal, I can get this. And once I get this goal, I can get that. And one of the first goals allowed me to get the tripod. And then this goal allowed me to actually get the printer. And that's why I was thinking about like Happy Mail as well. I was like, oh, I can print out Happy Mail on A3 and like cut it. Cause I was like, oh, this is a gift from Ko-fi. It does make a massive difference. This next one is Phthalo Green Blue Shade. It is PG7. Like all phthalos, absolutely beautifully bright. Some people call it like emerald green, and I can see why. It is 8 out of 8 light fastness, highly staining, non-granulating, and transparent. What am I missing? Phthalo Green Yellow Shade is the next one, which is it's funny because I hadn't thought of like greens as a blue shade or a yellow shade. To me, like a green is a green. But I guess it makes sense. Okay, this is more like even brighter. It's like a neon green. Brighter and lighter. I think I prefer, well, any surprise. I prefer the blue leaning one. I prefer the deeper, darker green. And again, this is like a lovely green, but I would probably use it in combination. Like I'd have to mix it, you know. Oh, sorry, the which brand? Yes, it's linked down below. It's Epson. It's an Epson printer. The key thing is, I think there are many different models that can do the same thing. It's more so the ink, so you need to find a printer that is compatible with the Dura Bright ink if it comes to Epson. I don't know if other brands also have like a similar thing, but I've linked them down below, and I think it's something like 20. They end with 20, 30, 40. They're essentially the same model, but the bigger the number, the younger, the newer the printer. So my one is like the middle one, because the more expensive one, the newer one, was something like £60 more expensive, and I didn't really know the difference. And also it was going to be delivered in 3 weeks, and I was impatient. You know, when I want something, I get excited and I want it straight away. So next we have Cobalt Green Light, which is here. It is PG50. It is 8 out of 8 light fastness, non-staining, medium granulating, and semi-opaque. And then just to reiterate the previous one, because I think I actually skipped it, this is Phthalo Green Yellow Shade, which is PG36. So PG36 is the yellow shade, PG7 is the blue shade, and that's the one that I think we tend to see in more places than not. Ooh, tell us, what is that like? The Epsom 1000, 15,000. It sounds expensive because the number is so big. I don't know if that's true at all. Um, I I don't know. I don't know if they work across brands like that, to be honest. I don't think they do, but I haven't tried it. Um, the only thing is the ink is not cheap. The ink is very expensive. That's the printer is affordable, but the ink is wild with the prices. So next we have chromium. Do we? Chromium green oxide. That doesn't sound like a nice name. It sounds like a. I'm curious to see what this will look like. The thing that I was excited by with the printer is that it would be able to print on watercolor paper, point number one. It would be able to print non-smudge proof paper, point number two. And ages ago, I wanted to make like coloring books. you, you must think I'm so random. Like, there's a whole bunch of things that I wanted to like make. One of them was like, oh yeah, I'll do coloring books. But then I was like, oh, also for swatching, it will come in super handy. And I think because I was thinking of like books, that's why I wanted it to be able to do A3 so that I would be able to fold them to create A4. Oh yay! We have a new member. Thank you so much, Betsy. That is so cool. I always forget that it links to my live streams. So it's always like a pleasant surprise. And I think it's gonna kill me when I buy it. It has several cartridges. That's the thing that's so annoying. The ink is expensive. I saw it earlier today and it said it was £110, but it's for the XL ones. I don't know how long that will last. For the small ones, which they say prints 300 pages, is £42. I don't know how much that ends up being per sheet. I started the live before I could do the maths. But that's something worth thinking about. Always check the printer, but also check the cost of the ink because that's where they get us. Still, for me, I think in the long run, it still ended up being worth it because I plan on doing this YouTube thing for quite a long time. If you're asking me, yes. Yes, the Durabright. So the ink that I used in this to create this is Durabright ink. And the one that goes, I've linked it all in the description because the one that goes with this printer, like they have a whole bunch of different Durabright inks. Some have like a golf ball. Some will have like animals on it. The one for this model has a briefcase at the front of it. So I know that there is plenty of different models, but for me, I was just looking for the most affordable model that could print on 300 GSM watercolor paper and be waterproof. And this got it. So I don't know what the others do, but for me, this one is great. This right here is, so this one here is chromium. Ooh. No. No, it's fine. Don't worry at all, Tracy. That's the beauty of lives. I don't mind repeating myself. I don't mind answering questions. Just feel free to ask if I missed something. So this is chromium green oxide. It is PG17, 8 out of 8 light fastness, non-staining, non-granulating, and semi-opaque. And then next to it, we have another romantic looking color, which is low tinting. It is green earth, PG23, which is an earth pigment, apparently, 8 out of 8 light fastness, medium staining, non-granulating, and transparent. You see that? Greens. Such variation in the greens, no? Next we have Perlin Green. Yes. You like my key? Pearl Green should be number 8 right here. PG17 makes interesting mixes with other opaque colors. What kind of mixes are you making? The Mightier pencil. Do you mean like I'm dropping water a bit? Yeah, what kind of mixes are you making? Like nicer, slightly different greens or more neutral colors? Because that's another thing. I think at some point I need to start working on mixing just because I'm curious to see. I tend to see a color, love a color, use a color. Does that make sense? I don't tend, or I'll see a color, love a color, use a color, mix it once, love that mix, and then continue mixing it the same way. So I just need to dedicate some more time to trying to do different mixes and seeing what happens. Ooh, this is beautiful. This is Pyridine Green. It is PBK 31. Really nice and moody green. It is 8 out of 8 light fastness, medium staining, non-granulating, and semi-transparent. It's absolutely stunning. It's funny, I thought it would be granulating. Following that, we have Pearl Green Deep. And I think both of these featured in the favorites video. There were certainly ones that people kept asking me about. And this one is like a little bit more olive leaning than the non-deep one. It is PBK 32. 8 out of 8 light fastness, medium staining, non-granulating, and semi-transparent. And I think both are just absolutely beautiful. Oh, I'm reading how you're using them. See? I love that you paint such a wide variety of things. Like every time I look at your sketchbooks, I'm blown away. Now we have, and I was talking to the Mightier Pencil, by the way, if you haven't already seen her on Instagram. And I think you said you have TikTok as well, right? I downloaded TikTok like 2 days ago, but I just didn't understand. I just don't understand it. So I didn't use it. But maybe I'll try again. This is malachite. It is an earth pigment and super low tinting. Like super, super, super low. That was first pass. This is second pass. This is probably lower tinting that I would want. Like it's a nice color, but you couldn't mix it. Can you see? It is, as I said, earth pigment, 8 out of 8 light fastness, non-staining, granulating, and semi-transparent. Oh, what did I miss, Amy? I have Rembrandt's Green PG23. It's gorgeous and light, but darn it, it's so hard to re-wet and get some pigment on the brush. PG23, yes. So oddly enough, the Roman Szmal one, like re-wet. It did re-wet nicely, but it is low tinting. Not as low tinting as malachite, as we have just established, but still low tinting. And this one does not granulate. So again, I think it depends on what you want. I think that's why it's good to like see swatches sometimes as well, because just because they have the same pigments or the same name doesn't mean that they behave the same way. What am I? I'm looking for Aquarius Green, which is here. Oh, this is a color that I immediately fell in love with. In fact, on Ko-fi, I created a whole video swatching out greens. And part of it was inspired by the Aquarius Green because I was just so blown away by how beautiful. Look at this. How beautiful this is. So I was like, oh, I have to swatch it and keep swatching different ways and mix it and see what else it will create. I just love how beautifully rich it is. It is PY50, PBR25, PB29, and it is 8 out of 8 light fastness. It is staining, granulating, and semi-transparent, and does really granulate beautifully. And I initially discovered it through the Urban Sketching palette by Roman Szmal. Oh, thank you so much for joining, Dana, and welcome. So happy to have you. It's always so nice to like meet new people. It's comforting to see familiar faces, and it is exhilarating to meet new people. So welcome. uh oh well, sleep well, Moni. I hope that you rest well, and I appreciate you joining in. It's always so lovely seeing you and chatting with you and reading your comments. Next we have, what is this? Oh yeah, Hooker's Green. So this Hooker's Green I love, and I actually got it in place of Roman Szmal's Sap Green because I kind of felt like the Sap Green was too bright and not sappy enough. I don't know how to explain it. So although it's a Hooker's Green, this is what I want from a Sap Green. Does that make sense? So it is a staple in my palette. In fact, it's a full pan in my pans that has half pans. Does that make sense? So I actually wanted to get the half pan of this so that it could fit, but it was sold out. So this is probably one that I will end up getting from Art Miranda before I travel. Which one do you have that you love, Tracy? Aquarius Green is one of your favorites. Yeah, it is absolutely beautiful. See, it's not just me. I'm glad you agree. I just think, yeah, the greens are stunning. The next green that we have is Sap Green, and I just want to illustrate the difference. And again, technically, Sap Green isn't like, a pigment, right? So different brands will put a whole bunch of different mixtures. But to me, this looks like a Sap Green, and this looks like a bright phthalo green, which is why I didn't get it in my main palette. And this is PY150 and PG7. And don't get me wrong, it's nice, it's beautiful, and it's so bright. It's like a spring green. No? So I think when it comes to these two especially, I would say like look at the swatches, because if you're expecting a Hooker's Green and you get a Sap Green, you'll be disappointed. And if you're expecting like a spring green, then the Sap Green is perfect for you, because you can see the like PY150 poking through. Like you can see it almost looks luminescent, no? Like it's like there's that hint of yellow poking through in the background. It is 8 out of 8 light fastness, staining, non-granulating, and transparent. Whereas the Hooker's Green is PY150 and PB27. Was that Prussian blue? Which is 8 out of 8 light fastness, staining, non-granulating, and transparent. Yay! No, use them, Miss Ebony. Honestly, I like the second I got them, I opened them straight away, and I did you know they're made in Sri Lanka? I opened them straight away and I used them to swatch, and there's something about breaking the seal that makes it so much easier. I mean, they're not cheap, but I feel like as long as the brushes should last years, right? So as long as I don't leave them in water, it's fine to use them because they won't run out. Whereas, oh, good night, Tracy. Enjoy dinner. And thank you for joining. But yeah, whereas I find like with paper, it hurts me because once it's gone, it's gone. With watercolors, same thing. Once it's gone, it's gone. But that being said, once it's gone, you can get more, which is what I need to keep reminding myself of. I'm just checking. So after the sap green, we should have sap green light. I'm just trying to figure out where exactly it is. It should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so it's this one. And it is actually a bit more sap green than the sap green, if that makes sense. And I remember being confused because the Roman Szmal urban sketching palette has sap green light, and I was like, why would they put sap green light instead of an actual sap green? But sap green light is a bit more sap green, like it's a yellowy, it's a more yellow version, a lighter version of what you would actually expect from a sap green. So I think that was actually a very wise choice because it lends itself a lot better to like creating foliage and urban sketching than the actual sap green in this palette does. It is PY 110 and PG 7. It is 7 out of 8 light fastness, medium staining, medium granulating, and semi transparent. So this is sap green light, and this is sap green. Next time I'll probably just catching up on the comments, I should say. Continue to enjoy the swatches. I'm glad that you guys are enjoying it. Use the dagger. I love the dagger. No, I honestly, I think water brushes have their place, especially when it can be so cumbersome to carry water around. But I honestly really do prefer using normal brushes over water brushes. So if I have the choice, more times than not, I will end up carrying some sort of water container and carrying out like a travel brush or something with me. But yeah, I don't know. Perhaps I'm a bit too laissez-faire, but I feel like really and truly, as long as I don't leave it in water, I cannot break these brushes, right? Guys? um, if that's not true, somebody let me know before I damage the brushes. This what we have next is permanent green. This looks super bright on here, doesn't it? Like us even brighter, like a neon green, spring neon green. So permanent green light, it is PY 154 and PG 7. It is 7 to 8 out of 8 light fastness, staining, non-granulating, and transparent. And again, it's that thing about relative, right? Like I thought that the sap green was super bright and like a bright spring green, and now I swatch this and I'm like, huh, this is actually way brighter. Do you know, right? If your brushes have been sitting in water, so if I remember correctly, you like oil painting, so I feel like oil brushes can hopefully survive that. I would probably take them out of the water while we're on the stream. um and then see how they go. But I think water brushes, like watercolor brushes, would be completely wrecked by that. It's still probably savable though. This is olive green light. Sorry, when you see me looking to the side, it's just checking the key to make sure that the order is correct. This is beautiful. Another color that was recommended by you when I was doing the favorite Roman Szmal colors. This is PB29, PY129, PY50, and PBR25. So it's a lot of colors. But it's like really nice. I was going to say it's like an olivey green, and that's literally the name, olive green. Light. Leans a bit more yellow than most olive greens, I think. Oil and acrylic, okay. they should be okay. Packing them away. I hope they do last for years too. Hey, Ike, yeah, that's what I'm hoping as well. That if I let them dry if I let them dry horizontally and I don't let them soak in water, they will be okay. I also hope that I keep the body fine, like I'm trying to be mindful of not like having deep cups where the water comes up to here because I don't want to damage the wood. But ultimately, I think I'm getting to a point where I feel like I need to challenge myself to just use as much as possible because I've accumulated so much now, so many art supplies, and like I said, I move every year, so it's time to start using these supplies. Oh, interesting. There's some bits missing from here. There's a whole row missing. What did I do? Okay, I'll swatch them. What did I do? So missing olive autumn green. We have gluconite. We have olive green deep. We have green gold. That's weird. I'm just randomly. Oh, do you know what? Autumn green was a new one, right? So it's not in. It's not in this, maybe. So I'm going to swatch it out anyway, and I'll just write the information by hand underneath. So this right here, this bad boy, right here, is autumn green, and it is stunning. Again, really beautiful granulating color. It's like moody. Hold on, let me make sure. I think I picked up some olive green there. It's like moody and beautiful, and it's got like yellows peeking through and like browns peeking through, and it separates in a stunning way. It really is a beautiful color. I think it's one of my favorite greens. Like my top 3 favorite greens from Roman Szmal would be Aquarius green, Hooker's green, and autumn green. All similar, but all hold a very dear place in my heart. So autumn green, let me label this. Autumn green is here. Just writing the information for us. Autumn green, which is PG26, PY150, and PR122. That's a pleasant surprise. It is 8 out of 8 light fastness. It is medium staining, granulating, and semi-transparent. Yeah, you can do that because you're using acrylic and oil brushes. That's how you can get away with it. But I am glad that your brushes are fine, Chidera. That's good. I didn't do a doodle, I just realized, but that's fine. We've done enough. Do you tend to like do you like seeing the drawings underneath the doodles to assess the opacity, or when you do the swatches, do you tend to just want to see the block colors? I'm curious to know how you swatch. I am determined, Miss Ebony. Even like on Saturday, pick an art supply that you have been putting off using and we can use them together. One of the things that helped me with using them more works less so if it's a gift, but more so if it's something that I've bought and I'm like, oh, I'm going to run out. Is like, if I do finish it, I get to buy more. That kind of started helping me. Like, okay, if I finish all my watercolor paper, I will get the joy of buying more. If I finish all my Roman Szmal watercolors, I will get to buy more, guilt free. And that was motivation to start using them even more. So this is Gluconite. It is PG, oh my gosh, PG 23. It is very low tinting. It is, yeah, very low tinting. I like took so much and still can barely see it. It is an earth pigment, 8 out of 8 light fastness, medium staining, medium granulating, and semi-transparent. So I suspect this is closer. I can't remember who I was talking to a second ago. Was it Tracy? No, it wasn't Tracy. Who was talking about PG? Or was it Amy? Am I making it up? I feel like it was Amy who was talking about PG 23. This might be closer to what you were having because this does granulate. I'm trying so hard to like pick up paint, and the thing is I can see the paint on the paintbrush, right? And then I go to the paper and it's nothing is happening. Like it's not getting darker. it can't get any darker. You do doodles and paint as well. Love drawing so much. I usually do a black line. That's the thing. Any which way goes. Whoops. I am glad you're here, Blanca. Welcome. I figured you meant hello. Good. I'm glad that you guys like them. I like them as well. I just wanted to know. I thought maybe sometimes it may seem a bit distracting. So I was wondering if it would be helpful to have some swatches where there's nothing underneath. But I think it's nice to look out after. This is, my bad, Olive Green Deep. And I remember I swatched these in the favorites like live stream as well as the favorites edited video to highlight. I can't see very much of a difference between the Olive Green Deep and the Olive Green Light. I guess the deep is slightly deeper, like a little bit deeper. But again, I think sometimes it's helpful like seeing them side by side because then you can decide, you know, which one you need. You might need one and not the other. The Olive Green Deep has PY150, PBK9, PG17, and PBR25. So they actually have completely different. Actually, am I getting confused? Disregard. I think I was talking about the green gold, which we will see. There is a bit more of a difference between the Olive Green Deep and the Olive Green Light, and they have completely different pigments. I'm gravitating towards this one. Yeah, no, Terra Verde, same thing, very low tinting. It's almost like, you know, it's the same. You will have had probably the same experience that I had when I tried the Cobalt Violet by Daniel Smith. Disappointment is an understatement. This is Deep Green Gold, which we are going to try now. It is PY 129. Nice and straightforward, one color. Green gold. To me it looks yellow, but here it is. Just trying to pick up some more. It is 8 out of 8 light fastness, medium staining, non-granulating, and transparent. And then next to it we have green gold. And this is these two that I was thinking about that I couldn't really see a massive difference between. The one thing that I think I could surmise is that the green gold is less staining, but also more importantly, the deep green gold is one pigment, whereas the green gold is PY 150, PY 129, and PG 36. So I guess from a mixing perspective, it may be a bit easier to mix with a deep green gold because you only have that one pigment. But that's the only kind of like key difference I could see between the two, because I was like, otherwise these colors look very similar to me. I'm catching up with your comments. Yeah, so you're not alone, Amy. It's not you, it's gluconite or PG23. Yeah, it is a yellow, right? I mean, I'll leave it here because it's here now, but here they are. Whew. Guys, let's take this moment to stretch, to hydrate. Ow. I'm gonna have a drink because I feel like I sound husky. Husky. mm. Mm-mm. Using different brushes can drastically change things, I find. When I started using the dagger, I felt like my art looked very different. In fact, I made a video where I painted the same or similar thing using different brushes so that I could show the difference in the results. But I think also it's in like how it feels, like how you hold the brush. So these are the colors we have done so far. We've done the greens. Let me show them. We have done the greens. We have done the blues. The yellows. And the purples. And if there's a color that you want to take a closer look at, then please let me know. But that's the first few pages of the Roman Szmals. So the ones that we have left that we haven't done yet, I will not be able to finish all of them. Part of me thought maybe I could, and I feel like technically maybe I could, but I feel like the more tired I would get in like an hour, the less helpful this will be. I'll just end up talking rubbish. So we have the earth colors, and that's 2 whole separate sheets. So that might end up being like a separate video on its own. But we have the grays, which I think we could do. And then we have the oranges and the reds, which I think perhaps what I will do is a video where I do the earth tones, the oranges and the reds. Like a part 2 to this. And for this video, I will finish with the grays and the blacks. And then if anyone wants to take a closer look, you just let me know. And we can look back on those swatch sheets. I'm so excited. Like I'm so excited, not only by the watercolors, but because the paper feels so nice, and because it's print, I just feel like I've created a book. I feel like that's what I've done. Like it's not a book, but I'm just excited. Oh, thank you, Miss Ebony. Guys, if you're enjoying the video, please remember to hit the like button. I hope that it's helpful. I hope that you're enjoying it, and I hope that it helps you with the watercolor sale that's currently going on. That is linked down below in the description. It's certainly going to help me with my decisions. Which palette is this in? Is this still palette 2? Yes. And if you want more swatching videos, then again, let me know. Or video suggestions as a whole, I am open to. So this color, oh, why was I confused? This is Chebish, Chebish, Chebish grey, which I struggle to say, but it is a beautiful one of a kind grey, which I have got in the wrong order. So I'm going to start here. And I think it's got PB29, it's got PR177, it's got PG26. It's a 7 to 8 out of 8 light fastness, medium staining, granulating, and semi-transparent, and it just is beautiful. Like such a beautiful, beautiful color. In the top 30 Roman Szmal watercolors, which I've linked in the description, I kind of compared it um to the shadow violet and to the shadow violet, Payne's grey, and to the shadow grey, I want to say. But hands down, this right here, chef's kiss. Can you see it? Can you see the purples poking through? And let it dry and then you will see. Then we have shadow grey, which is here. Let me just clean up the palette. It's only Schminke on sale. That's odd. I could see everything on sale, but a lot of the Roman Szmal had been sold out. I did ask people what they would recommend buying, and I was surprised that Schminke won. I thought people would say Michael Harding or any of the like new ones. Part of me is so irritated that Daniel Smith never goes on sale. Like, can you give the people a break? It's hard times. Just have a sale so that we can buy what we need to buy. But yeah, they're never ever on sale, which is annoying. So I ended up buying some of the Michael Harding, and I was also gifted some Michael Harding. So so I'll do a video on that. I'm going to try and be unbiased. We're all friends here. It's been almost 3 hours, so I'm going to say that I have like reached out to them to like ask questions and show interest and just and they just completely ignored me. Over and over and over again. There isn't a single like question. I think one time they replied and said, "Hey, we're really busy. We'll get back to you," and then nothing. Haven't heard back, and I just find it like disrespectful, basically. So part of me didn't want to buy them out of principle for ages because I was like, if they can't even be bothered to reply to people, then do I even want to support them? But I set my personal feelings aside and I said, if they are good watercolors, then, I should try them out and kind of give a fair review. But that is my bias, which I'm being open about. That if they are anything less than spectacular, I will not be recommending them. I will say that the paints are good, but I don't know about the company. How about that? All it takes is a reply, but did I get so what I got in the watercolor sale was actually the Michael Harding watercolors. Um yeah. Good question. I'm curious to see what people say. And I've realized I haven't told you guys what I am swatching, so let me do that now. Try to lift some of the color as well. So the first color is shadow gray, which is PB29, PBR7, and PV19. It is 8 out of 8 light fastness, non-staining, medium granulating, and semi-opaque. Beautiful. Next, we have Shibish Grey, which is PB29, PR177, PG26. It is one of my favorite grays. It is 7 to 8 out. Oops. It is 7 to 8 out of 8 light fastness, medium staining, granulating, and semi-transparent. And I don't know if you can see the purples coming through. It's just so lovely. We have Payne's Grey. There isn't a grey yet. I have a Payne's Grey yet. I have come across that I do not love. It's PBK9, PB27, PB27, and PR264. It is 8 out of 8 light fastness, medium staining, non-granulating, and semi-opaque. And again, beautiful, deep, and rich. Who knew greys could be so amazing? Then we have Aquarius Grey. No, I don't have Aquarius Grey. Next, I have Neutral Tint. Where is that? Neutral Tint here. Okay. I'll swatch that. I basically like moved some of the colors out of order in terms of colors that I thought I would use quite a bit. So you saw that I brought the Nickel Azo Yellow from the natural order to the first palette, and then I brought some of the grays that I thought I would use a lot to this palette because the earth toned palette is the one that I use the least, and I didn't want to have to keep going back to it, you know, like rotating back and forth. So this is Neutral Tint. It is PB60, PBK6, and PB19. Wonderful. It is 8 out of 8 light fastness, medium staining, non-granulating, and semi-transparent. I can't explain how greys and blacks can all look so different. Only that they do, and they are all beautiful. There you go. And Blanca, in answer to your question, I tend to store my swatches in a swatch book that I've created, and I've made a separate video. I think it's called like how to do swatches or something like that. Where I essentially like talk through how I made my swatch book and exactly how I store it. I can show it to you in a second. Let me just, here we go. Open this bad boy up. The infamous Earth Tones palette. So this is what I'm doing at the moment. I converted a Moleskine watercolor sketchbook into like a disc bound system, and then maybe it would be easier if I did this. And then I added like swatches of each one, of each brand here. And sometimes it's just like the swatches that I'm doing. Can you see? Do you see what I mean about like I do swatches in lots of different ways? And these ones. And sometimes it's like playing around, and these, I think this is one of my favorites. Can you see it? I don't know. And the tubes as well. I just love doing these. So yeah, that's how I'm storing them at the moment. I am thinking about converting this to just having a folder, like a ring binder, because I think it just makes life easier, right? Like you don't need to have disc bound. With the disc bound ones, it's nice because you can move them around, but in theory I could do that with a ring binder as well. So I'm thinking about just moving everything into a ring binder and having it that way. But that's how I am doing it at the moment. And I'll store like everything in there, you know. When I'm messing around with color, it all just goes into one place. Renee, does PB60 dry flat? Don't know what you mean. I don't quite know what you mean by flat, but I can show you, and I can send you a picture on Discord if that will make it easier. So for me, it's quite rich, but perhaps you would argue that the Prussian blue is like less flat, is like deeper. Is that what you mean? Thank you. And hey, Puka, welcome. Oh, I am so excited for you. Honestly, I love Roman Szmal, and I hope that you will love them as much as I do. And I'm glad that you made it to a live stream. I think it does make it hard that I just go live whenever I feel like it, but I can't explain it. I feel like you have to be in a certain mood to go live. So what do we have? Oh, yes, Aquarius Grey. So this is now Aquarius Grey. It is PW61. So it's like a buff titanium, like a dirtier version, a grey version. I prefer the way it looks in the pan to the actual paint. Like this isn't the kind of grey that I would go for because I wouldn't really use it in place of buff titanium. And it's not as dark as I like. So I don't know. I don't know if there's a place for it here. If there's a place for it in my heart. I wanted to bring I'll continue swatching, and then at the end, I guess we can do like comparisons and thoughts and closing remarks. But I wanted to see the yellows. Yeah, can you see like that's a buff titanium, which is a bit nicer and richer. So I don't know. Let me know, how would you use the Aquarius Grey? Next, we have Roman Black, which is here. I don't think there's been a single live stream where we haven't had sirens in the back. This is PBK 11. Oh, I'm going to be curious about this because PBK 11 normally granulates quite a bit. In my video about how to create your own granulating colors, this featured very heavily, but I haven't tried the Roman Szmal one. It is PBK 11 Earth Pigment. It's 8 out of 8 light fastness, staining, medium granulating, and semi-transparent. My first thoughts are not 100% happy because it's like leaning more brown than black. Is like my first thought. It's looking brown, like a dark brown. I'll lift it up so that you can see what I mean. I'm trying to add more like to the corner to see if that will make much of a difference. But do you see what I mean about it having like a slight brown edge to it? So yeah, it's giving brown. It's not giving black. You know, if you compare it, even this looks a bit bluey, but trust me. We will see. I'm curious, is there another PBK 11? There's a Mars Black, so maybe the Mars Black will be more black because this is the Earth Pigment version. Renee, are you talking about the PB60 making a beautiful skin tone mix with PR209 or the Mars Black? Let me know. Or a different color. This next color is Vine Black. Which is PBK 8. Are my expectations too high? Why are all these blacks looking brown? What is going on? I know it's because we keep saying that blacks are boring, but you know, sometimes you just want a good dark black. And I don't know how many times I have picked up paint to like layer it up, but then I try to like not do it throughout, if that makes sense. Oh, Aquarius Grey mixed with PR209. I'll try experimenting with it. Perhaps I'm being too harsh, but it's just like a concrete grey to me. This is Vine Black. Can you see the like reddish brownish kind of tint that it's given? It is 8 out of 8 light fastness, medium staining, non-granulating, and semi-opaque. So to me, it looks very much like the Roman black that we just swatched, but the key difference is that it is semi-opaque, whereas the Roman black is semi-transparent, and then the Roman black is meant to granulate, which is granulating like a bit. Can you see? I wish I could like control the focus. It's granulating a little bit. Very warm black indeed. Then we have ivory black. Now, ebony and ivory, this should be black, black, right? This is PBK 9. It's closer to a black. Now I understand why we have so many different like variations of black, you know, PBK 6, PBK 9, PBK 11, PBK, because they just vary. But I'm surprised. I would have thought it would be what I'm looking for is like a jet black. When I say looking for, really and truly, I don't know how or where I would use that in my art. Because all of these are probably dark enough to like do line work or something if that was what I was using it for. But this black I kind of prefer a bit more. It's less brown. It's more black. And it is PBK 9. It's 8 out of 8 light fastness. It's staining, it's granulating, and it is semi-transparent. And I'm going to, so next we have Mars Black. My hopes are high. This is PBK 11. So a little bit harder to re-wet than the others. And the way that I know or I say that before even taking the paint is almost like it almost feels like there's a film on top of the paint. So I can see the water like just sitting on top, but the paint isn't quite moving yet. In all fairness, I like opened these, unwrapped them, and then never used them. I just let them completely dry out. So far they've all been great to like they've all re-wet easily. But still worth noting. This is Mars Black PBK 11. See, I don't know if it's so faint because I haven't re-wet it properly. So that's on first pass. I think is definitely it hasn't re-wet. It is 8 out of 8 light fastness. It is staining, medium granulating, and meant to be opaque. so it's me. Like I'm fancy now, so I'm gonna get this. Yeah, the water is literally just sitting on top of the Mars Black and on top of the Aquarius Black. Yeah, that's almost what it feels like, Renee. Like there's a layer of wax and it's not opening. It's not letting me use. Miss Ebony, you're right. Before everything, like yesterday, everything that I could see, all the watercolors were on sale. But when I'm checking now, the only watercolors that I think are on sale are the core ones because there's a golden sale on Jackson's. So the core, the Schminke, and the some of them. So I think that they're taking the sale away. That happened to me once where literally I was my items were in the basket and I could see the prices change one by one by one by one, getting more and more expensive. So I'm just using a rougher brush to try and like reactivate this paint because I can't be you wouldn't want to use a nice brush to do this basically. And you need like a brush with firmer bristles. So that's done now. Oh, do you think it transfers from the wrapper? I thought it was just because I hadn't used it for ages, but it's unusual because all the other colors so far have reactivated so nicely, whereas this literally got like an impermeable membrane. on top. The water's just sitting there. I got these palettes from Amazon. I was just checking. Hold on. I can send you the link. This is me trying to multitask. There we go. And welcome to the party, Jade. Okay, now it's re-wetting. But still, it's quite tough. This is very unusual for Roman Szmal, I must say. Otherwise, can you imagine if I had to do this with every color? We would have been here for twice as long, if not even longer. I think, can't tell if it's reactivated or not, but I think it has. But it's weird because it's almost what I would expect from the earth colors. So the Mars black has the Aquarius black. Can't tell if it has. I think it has. And let's see. Okay, try that again. So the Mars black, we can see this was on first pass. On second, yes, much better. You see, once reactivated, this is a nice black. It's an actual black. It's not a brown, it's a black. Despite the headache that it took to reactivate it, which may or may not be because of the packaging or because I left it open for ages. I don't know why. Very unusual. It is a PBK 11. It is 8 out of 8 light fastness. It's medium granulating and opaque. Beautiful. This is what I expect from a black, apart from the headache. Yeah, I think you know what I will do for the because it's not uncommon for it to happen with like earth pigments, although this isn't earth pigments, but I'm thinking when I do the swatches for the earth pigments palette, I'm just going to put some warm water in my spritzer and then activate all of them because I hadn't considered it, because they reactivate so easily. I really hadn't thought about like needing to activate them before. So this is the one I'm not 100% sure if it's activated, but we shall see. It is Aquarius black. Oh, I don't think it has. After all that, it's Aquarius black. It is PBK 11 again. And again, it says it's the earth pigment of PBK 11. It is 8 out of 8 light fastness, medium staining, granulating, and semi-transparent. And I mean, they make nice grays. Like this is the kind of gray that I'd prefer over this kind of gray. But it's not what it's. It's a good black. I agree. Here we go. I was thinking of like just trying to like break that without losing all my watercolor. Bore a hole in the middle or something. Okay, let's see. Ignore my brush. Yes, better. Okay, see now we're talking. Beautiful black. PBK 11, Aquarius black, the earth pigment of PBK 11, 8 out of 8, light fastness, medium staining, granulating, semi-transparent. And I'm curious to see how they granulate, if they granulate. But in theory, the Aquarius black should granulate more than the Mars black, according to what Roman Szmal have said. So we shall see. And then the last two at the bottom are ones that we have seen before, Shadow Violet and Shadow Violet Light. But I added them here because I kind of felt like they went here as well, if that makes sense. Hey, Lindor, welcome. Yeah, see, I think because I was checking before and I could see the prices were on sale, but I thought because normally they keep going till Friday. So once it passed Friday and it was still going, I then thought that they would just carry it on for 2 weeks like they did right before Black Friday, or right like around Black Friday. So I'll just do the Shadow Violets. Just have to check where they are. Following my system. So row 1, row 2. So they're on row 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 and 6. Shadow Violet 6 is Shadow Violet. 1 and 2. 1, 2, 3. Shadow Violet Light. Normal Shadow Violet. Here we go. So this is Shadow Violet, which we swatched before, but I just wanted to complete this swatch sheet by including it here as well. It is PG50, PB29, and PV19. It is 8 out of 8 light fastness, staining, granulating, and semi-transparent. And again, a beautiful color. And also very highly recommended by you guys. Before I got it, you guys kept talking about this, and I can see why. And then Shadow Violet Light is again a beautiful color that doesn't get as much attention and leans a little bit more purple. But again, absolutely beautiful. Ta-da, look at that. See, that's why I wanted to include them here. I feel like they belong here. They belong in 2 sheets. And, whew, guys, that's pretty much it. It's so funny because I really didn't know how long it would take me to swatch. So part of me was like, I don't know if I'll just end up swatching 1 sheet or if I'll swatch like the entire range. But I think the entire range would be too much for me, which I guess makes sense, right? Like swatching 180 colors would be a lot. And I think that we've done 100. And we have, no, we've done more than 100. Oh my gosh, because we only have 1 palette left. So we must have done like 120 colors. No wonder. So let me show you. These are the grays and the blacks. And I hope you can get a good look at them. And you can see that the PBK11 blacks have started to granulate. And the Mars black seems to be granulating a lot more than the Aquarius black. Sorry. But I don't know if it's because of how rough I don't know if it's the way that I treated the paints as well. Then we have neutral tint, which is beautiful. Ivory black and vine black. And then shadow violet and shadow violet light. So the shadow violet light and the Shibish, can you see they're a bit similar. Like these 3 colors are all a bit similar, and I think they are all beautiful. And that, can you? Even with the shadow gray, but the shadow gray doesn't it's not like granulating as much as the others, I find. So that's that palette. Then we looked through the beautiful blues. Oh, look at that, Vivinite. This would be part of the romantic palette. And then ocean blue as well. Ocean blue usually in a bigger swatch like granulates even more. Like I don't know if you can see here in the middle, it's got that like little hint of that like PBR 24 coming through. Like it just looks a little bit yellowy. Love that. And greens. I'm a sucker for greens. So the Cobalt Green Deep, again, look, granulates beautifully. Don't know why I'm like putting it so close to the screen. The Viridian, I till date don't know what a normal Viridian should look like. I thought that they were meant to be higher tinting and leaning a little bit more towards emerald, but every Viridian I've come across looks completely different. So this is the Viridian that we have here. And then the phthalo greens, the blue shade and the yellow shade, again, beautiful. The malachite, I mean, it's so beautiful and so gentle, but it's so low tinting, like you wouldn't be able to mix it with anything, but it is really nice. I can't lie. The green earth as well. So the malachite is a bit brighter and lighter than the green earth. What other? Oh, Aquarius green is bay. Beautiful. Can you see the granulation? Hold on. Can you see that? Then olive green deep, I really like. But then also autumn green. Unreal. Why does the Vivinite cost so much? Because it's an earth pigment. Do you remember, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong? Where is it even? The gluconite. Where is Vivinite? Thought it'd be here. Vivianite was next to this. Yeah, I think I know it's like one of the expensive ones. Like malachite is also expensive. I think green earth tends to also be expensive. It's just oh, it's in the blue side. That makes sense. Yeah, earth pigment. That's why. So you know how like Primatex, I mean, there's that whole controversy, but part of the reason they could charge so much is because they're saying they're crushing earth pigments to create those paints. I think it's like the same principle in that they are like they are weak tinting, you need a lot more of that um pigment to create paint. And so the cost goes up, which is what was confusing for me. Like, you know, how can you have something that's low tinting and then it costs so much? It almost feels like it should be the more potent it is in terms of color, the more it costs. But that is not the way it works, unfortunately. And then we have the purples. um, and I just love the Roman Szmal purples because I feel like they are all completely different. Like apart, you could argue that the Quin Magenta and the Quin Pink are quite similar. But apart from that, they all have a personality of their own. They're all completely different. And you can see there's not even that many purples compared to all the other colors that we've gone through. But all of them just have a very special place and are stunning. And then we have the yellows, of which there are so many. So let me know if there's any that you want to see closer. I'm just going to read the chat and catch up with you guys. And then I will let you go to sleep or to enjoy the rest of your afternoon as I go to sleep. But I've missed live streaming. It's been almost a month since I've done a live stream. Can you believe that? The last live stream I did was the one with Miranda, and that was a lot of fun. And I think I haven't done live streams on my own in quite a while. So it's nice to dip my feet in again. Thank you so much for your patience throughout. And thank you to Miss Ebony for being my mod. The PG23. There's two that we saw. One was the gluconite, and the other one was the green earth. So both of these, though they look completely different, are PG23s. I must say, normally I'm not tempted. I'm not tempted by them. I mean, there's the potential that I will get tempted by them now that I have them and I use them. Should I fall in love with them, then that would be very unfortunate for me. I like them. I like them. Oh, I think I keep thinking of all these videos I want to do. So I'd like to do one where I swatch out the different palettes so that you can see, because in theory, because I have all of them, I could swatch out the Jane Blundell palette so that you can see what the colors look like, and all the other artist palettes, but also all these like low tinting colors. I would swatch them out together because I think they would make such a wonderful looking palette. Even though they're not colors I typically use, I still think they'll look beautiful together. Mm. But yeah, I think following that, we just have the earths and the yellows, the earths and the reds to do. But yeah, don't forget to hit the like button if you have enjoyed this video. I will leave timestamps down below as well, so that if you want to come back to it and you want to kind of see all the greens in the Roman Szmal palette, all the blues by Roman Szmal, all the purples by Roman Szmal, etc., you will be able to do that and just and just like skip around, play some music, mute me, and and rewatch it should you wish. And if you want to paint together, I am going to be doing a video chat and like video virtual party with my Ko-fi members next week. So you are more than welcome to join us there. I'm looking forward to it, letting my hair down and painting. I feel like I haven't like done a proper painting in a bit of a while, certainly not on camera. And tomorrow, my video will come up. I'm going to upload it overnight and it will be ready by tomorrow. But do you guys have any questions before I leave you to enjoy the rest of your day? Or any colors that you want to take a closer look at? Thank you so much for joining, Ike. Thank all of you for joining. Honestly, I love going live. I love chatting with you guys, and I'm never sure, like I wasn't sure if you would enjoy swatching videos, but it's nice to just chat as well. It's like nice and low pressure to chat as I swatch, and I had a good time. It was nice seeing familiar faces, and it was nice meeting new names as well. Sorry, I'm like finishing my coat on the street. Thank you so much. I hope you all rest very, very well. I have linked everything down below in the description. I have made the doodles available for my Ko-fi members as well. So should you want to use it, you can do so. And be on the lookout for part 2, especially if you love earth tones, if you love the reds, if you want to see the like cherry quin reds and all the different reds, then be sure to check out the next video. But for now, thank you so much, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.